money on the line here. And here we are. This is game number 1, series number 1 in NAC4. Happy to be here, Dave, and two big names in our scene. We've got Nikov, who's in the red, playing as the Lithuanians, and we have Yo playing as the Aztecs here on Arabia.
Yeah, and that's a very well-known SIP for Yo. Aztecs on Arabia, right? We know what he's capable of with it, and it looks like he's gotten a pretty favorable map here. The gold is fairly close. He's got the wood line in the front, but there's walling potential for him as he begins by pushing in an ostrich. And Nikov is going to be on the other side. It looks like he has a back gold as well, but his wood line's a little bit far away.
Nikov has ridiculous builds with Lithuanians. I know that you're able to achieve a lot with the Lithuanians regardless, but it was against Vinchester. You and I were casting it in TTL like 3 or 4 weeks ago. 18 pop man-at-arms. 18 pop man-at-arms. It was against Mezzo as well. So I think there's an opportunity here for Nikov to try that again.
Yeah.
I don't mind going for a scout rush with Lithuanians. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, but I really feel like these days you just got to be so much more aggressive against the Aztecs, because if it gets to Castle Age, the Aztecs with their monks and their eagles and their pikes, just very difficult to stop.
And guys, I would suspect that we will be getting small trees next game.
Yeah.
That's what I would suspect, as I see people running around in the background. So, like I said, it's happy little accidents. All the big trees lovers out there, you will get your fill on this one. But what do you think the opening is going to be here for Nikov? Is it going to be a super fast feudal into early pressure, or is it going to be more of a laid-back style of approach?
Well, with the build that I just mentioned, he normally goes to wood a bit earlier. See, like, he's going 18 pop, but notice he doesn't have the wood banked. So the fact that he doesn't have the wood banked right now tells me he's probably going to be going for scouts.
We're changing to little trees.
We're changing to little trees.
We're doing it live.
Yes.
We're doing it live.
Yes, to all the people who are screaming about it. Now we don't get... Yeah, it's fine.
You made this happen.
Yeah.
You made it switch from the game back to us. Okay?
Got to look at a big tree in us right now. Yeah. But anyways, we'll continue on here and keep action rolling. But again, I think it's going to be scouts.
Nope.
And
we're staying on with this, and we will get it next game.
Yeah,
so it's going to be scouts with Lithuanians. That's what you assume.
Yeah, I think so.
And you think Nikov's going to be the one applying the pressure early?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Key for him is going to be where his scout, what his scout finds, because he has stayed home to push even additional food in. And then also key for Yo is does he even know where his opponent is? Like, these guys are both very late to scouting. Now, this is a 9 villager start, right? And this is something that a big change between the 9 villager start and traditional 3 villager start is that players are greedier, Dave. And they just do not scout as much. So again, very important moment. Like, even if Nikov finds that eagle and kills it right here with the faster feudal, it would be huge. And just passing.
And he's not going to... Oh, now he's turning around. He noticed it just a little bit too late, right? Yep. Feudal Age is coming in 20 seconds here, but Yo is going to have to run away as he waits for his Feudal Age upgrade to come in. He's got the gold to kind of run around. He's got the areas around the wood line to maybe avoid that scout. Once Feudal Age hits, Nikov will be right on this eagle, and there he goes.
Yo's doing the right thing, though. You're going to lose that eagle. Just take as much HP off that scout as possible.
Yep. And you confirm the opening from Nikov, too.
That's true.
You see it's a stable. It's not going to be some archer range, you know, skirmisher, spearman, something shenanigans like we might see from MBL against the Aztecs. And Yo is going forward with 3 militia here. He's going to go for a men-at-arms push, and he's going to not mind the fact that there's a stable there. And
notice where he's going, right? He's not heading right back to where he already saw was blocked off, but he's also heading in towards the darkness, right? So this is where you need a little bit of good fortune because you didn't scout early. Him knowing the mill was there, though, was just good enough. He's going to slide in here, and let's see if Nikov notices this. Nikov wants to go for a standard wall, and Nikov sees it, and now he has an idea.
Yeah, beautiful. Nikov going for the house, the palisade walls. There's no lumber camp there either, so Yo doesn't have much more to punish other than that mill, but he's found his way in towards that villager, and he can be annoying, and Nikov isn't going to finish that house, so he's going to have to go back for that or just make a new one.
Yep. Now can we see Nikov scouting again, please? Because Nikov, he's not going to have the vision on where his opponent is, to my knowledge here.
Yep.
Yeah, he still doesn't have a clue. So this is not a good position when you're trying to go fast.
He sees the secondary gold, though, and he's scouted to the left. So he sees that gold forward, so he should assume that Yo is over there.
But great job from Yo here. Obviously lost his early eagle, does take some hits there. He does complete the man-at-arm upgrade. But the fact that Yo hasn't taken any early damage to scouts is key. And Nikov, you could tell he's thinking, now I need to move forward now. So maybe a little bit of wasted time
I like the response here from Nikov, though.
Yeah.
Just wall up, and he uses like 4 villagers to do it, and there we go. There's a couple more working on those walls. Immediately back to the wood line. Nikov is doing a fantastic job against the men-at-arms here from Yo. Yo, not even buying himself time against the scouts because Nikov feels comfortable enough to come forward with these, but Yo with a great defense already. He's got the spearmen already out. He's got the archers set up, and now he's still attacking this mill, and because Nikov went forward with those scouts, the men-at-arms are still applying pressure at the back, and Yo has managed to stall out all the early aggression that Nikov wanted to put onto him.
Yeah, I think in terms of the way the army control is going right now, this is the perfect start for Yo. The economy, though, is going to be dangerous because he doesn't have any eco upgrades, Mr. Yo. Nikov's has had his wood upgrade, excuse me. He also has his farm upgrade. He's still got some sheep underneath the TC, so he's got a lot to work with here. But now he needs to maybe react to this as the archers have arrived to the mill. And you can't really keep your villager in there repairing for too long because you're going to lose it. Nikov just pulled it away because that's a weak villager right there, but he's also going to find the archer.
I really like that. He's keeping the scouts where he knows the reinforcements are coming from. He takes a couple hits on that archer, and that's going to be easier for the skirmishers to deal with. And the skirmishers are now in a tricky spot for Mr. Yo. He can't really find an engagement with the men-at-arms. He can push them back, but that's it. As Nikov now loses 2 scouts, and he's losing another scout here, Tristan.
Yeah, this is just, and you actually could see a little grimace there from Nikov on his face. I don't know if that's his normal look because he doesn't have face cam on his stream that frequently, but it definitely was a look of that's bad for me. And we actually have a bit of a pause here for hopefully no huge reason. It should be back in business here in a second, but yeah, this is good for Yo right now. The fact that he hasn't taken any damage to the scouts. There's also no scouts out there really to damage him at all. And now from here, it's a matter of will Yo commit to fletching? Sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. Will Yo try and use the market to get to Castle H fast to go to Eagles? There's just a couple options for him right now.
So does Nikov add a few more scouts here, or does he just continue on with skirmishers and then build up his economy behind? Like, what's the next step for him?
Yeah, I think making more scouts delays your Castle Age too much.
Too much?
So I think
Yeah.
I think skirms for now, and then you really just have to hope that you're able to get some type of momentum before Yo gets to Eagles. But I'm surprised Yo doesn't have a single Eagle in queue. A lot of players are going to be making Eagles now. So even just 1 or 2 Eagles would allow him to hold the map.
He's not queuing up anything, dude.
Yeah,
no
he's
more
really
archers,
not.
nothing. He's got 170 gold in the bank and just nothing. He doesn't even, I mean, he finally got his wood upgrade, but doesn't have his farm upgrade still, and he's just kind of making farms behind. So Yo is getting his economy set for Castle Age.
Yeah, still no Eagle at all. I mean, that's your go-to, right? If you see skirmishers out there, especially Lithuanian skirmishers that are so fast, you're not going to want to commit to archers long-term. So he's just chilling, man. I think that's probably a market going up at home, or maybe he's making another barracks or something. No, there's the blacksmith. But just think about it, Dave. Nikov had scouts so fast. He rushed, like, fletching and all these things. Yo's just now making a blacksmith, and yet it's been Yo who's been in Nikov's base this entire time.
Yeah, Yo found a really good angle with those men-at-arms to come in, and Nikov couldn't find anything with the scouts. Like, if he had gone around north, maybe he's pressuring the woodline and the archers have to stay home with the spearmen. Instead, he goes along the right side of Nikov's base, and he runs right into the spearmen and the archers at the beginning. So it's really, really good for Mr. Yo, as Mr. Yo is trying to find another villager here. Doesn't quite get him. Still pressuring that mill area, though.
All right. Look at this. We even have like the little description for the paragraph here. They were the most picked civilization in the qualifiers, despite also being the second most banned and second most sniped.
I think that just shows it's a very versatile civ. Like, you can use it on hybrid maps. You could use it on Arabia here. You can basically use it on any map in the pool, and you're looking pretty good. Lithuanians have a lot of different options, as Nikov now tries to clear up this army behind. Nikov sitting with 15 on food currently. Yo with 19 on food, and Yo clicks up. And now he's going to start the Eagle queue.
This is bad for Nikov. He doesn't have additional scouts to really scout for map control for relics long term. His skirmishers will offer very little value. Yo's just simply buying time with this. Very frequently with the Aztecs, in a closer, more competitive feudal age game, they're actually going to use the market, and they're going to have sold their stone by now, so they can't boom. Yo didn't have to do that either. So the fact that Yo is able to just like kind of play his game now at his third barracks like it's nothing, and being Castle H faster gives, in my mind, a big advantage to Mr. Yo.
And it's a very kind of Mr. Yo approach to this game. He's not going for the full walls yet. He's not keeping units at home. His defense strategy is purely aggression. I'm going to try and do as much as I can with those 5 archers I made, with those 3 men-at-arms that I made, and that 1 spearman, and another spearman now chasing this scout from Nikov. Good job keeping that alive and getting some extra scouting info as he sees another barracks and confirms what's happening. But Mr. Yo has kept himself safe at home by providing that pressure at Nikov's base, and he's also forced him into a ton of skirmishers, which are going to find no value against these Eagles now.
Yep. Yeah, it's really tricky. Yo just did such a good job. And I think for Nikov, it was just back to the greed, right? Just not having the scouting. And again, game 1, how are your nerves? Everyone's had to travel a long way to get here. But Nikov's going to fall back. He should keep the skirmishers in the mix. It could be helpful if your opponent ever switches into the pikemen later.
Where are the relic locations here? We've got one on the right side. There's another one on the left. There's 2 that are kind of close to Nikov, but it's going to be pretty tough with eagles roaming around, especially if Yo spots those. You can leave 1 eagle there to get that extra attack on your knights.
You can kind of tell how Yo wants to play this. Look at how he's building his buildings. This is an aggressive play. If he were to want to boom, he would be full walling and he would be building those buildings more close to his base. So he wants to get the relics. Aztecs get 33% more gold from the relics, which is huge. And then, of course, the Lithuanians get +1 attack on their knights.
Yeah, you're looking more to deny the relics from your opponent than you are to get benefits from them. That's just like a side objective.
Yeah.
When you're playing against Lithuanians, especially with knights against eagles, every single extra attack matters so much.
Yeah. And that gold with Aztecs is huge as well, right? Because you're making monks and you're making eagles. Everything is really gold costly. So the extra relic gold certainly doesn't hurt. And, you know, for Nikov, he just now makes it to Castle Age. This is a solid Castle Age time, all things considered, but let's see if he's going to be able to find his spots. He's got 3 stables in total. He has the starting stable, and then 2 more he's kind of hidden away behind this. And Yo's just trying to break through. Yo's not able to break through because Nikov's house walling, so Yo just needs to brace himself because if he has all the eagles split up, he will start losing some tonight.
It's so tough for Nikov because now he has to spend wood on a monastery. He has to spend wood on those houses behind the walls, and he needs more farms, right? Like, he's only got 12 on food right now. And when you're fighting against eagles, 3 knights against 12 eagles is okay for defense, but then you add in the monks for Mr. Yo, and things just start getting really difficult. We know Mr. Yo is probably thinking about a siege workshop soon, too.
Yo's food count is interesting to me. Like, he must have auto farm on or something here. I don't know if we can click the mill.
It looks like he does.
Yeah, that is actually, it's not a bad thing. It's actually very rare, though, because normally when you have the food, you're using the wood to drop town centers. So that's a surprise. Most players here are not using auto farm at this stage of the game, but he's going to use the food now, so I like it. He's going to just say, okay, let's just go pikemen.
Yep. And that's probably more of a, like, that's like a reflex. Like, you see how much food you have in the bank. You're like, I only have 1 TC. I can't really use this for upgrades. I'm just going to go into the pikeman approach. That's going to help as well. And then I'll have pikemen, monks, eagles.
Yep.
And I'm still applying the pressure. I know he doesn't have a second town center yet, because how could he with the amount of walls and the monastery and stables that he's made. So I'm going to add a second TC of my own, just apply a little bit more pressure and just keep the ball rolling here.
Man, I have to say the fact that he's fallen off a bit of a surprise based on what we know from Yo with his style with Aztecs, but I love his positioning. He's got the good army comp out. He's even sending an eagle with that monk to the north just to make sure that there's no scouts there. Can we just get a glance at the secondary golds? Can he even town center these secondary golds, Mr. Yo? That one's going to be rough.
Kind of in between 2 hills. That one's
doable.
Fine.
That one's doable. But
Knights
here come the knights.
From Nikov, being tracked from Mr. Yo, and he's got a monk there and also the pikemen and the eagles. He's got 2 monks there. Might get a conversion as they try and kill this monk in the north, and he does get the conversion at the very last second. The monk does go down, but it looks like Mr. Yo is going to get a second conversion here, and Nikov's just going to commit.
Oh, that's
this
rough.
Is a costly commitment.
That's rough. And it's a commitment because you know you're behind, Dave.
And he doesn't even kill the monk, Tristan. Oh, no. Nikov gets away with 3 weak knights. He can heal those up, but Mr. Yo is still snowballing. Military count heavily in his favor now. And, of course, he got that second town center up faster.
Yep. Also, he's going to drop TC number 3, and Nikov had actually sold his stone. He's just known that this game is not going to be good for him, so he sold his stone so he can go all in here, Dave. And it's going to have to be knight numbers. Maybe the skirms can help a little bit.
It is a decent amount of knights.
Yep.
Like, all things considered, I think Nikov got up to Castle Age at a pretty good time. He's managed to keep himself safe. I think the Eco KD is still only 1-0 in favor of Yo, so it's not that big. But now you're up against an Aztec player who has the military mass and has 3 town centers.
This is where you just need to have a couple monks around your army at all times, and you always hold. As long as Yo does that, he should be in an okay position here. That knight is going to switch sides again. No, he's not. He'd rather die than go back to that side. And there's one monk there. There's a second monk following. Yo gets a conversion. Keep in mind, Yo's Vil count is just going to rise and rise and rise. And he's also got the hill. He's even getting arson right now, so maybe he wants to push and destroy these buildings. That's crazy. But, you know, Yo doesn't have to force a fight right now. He really just needs to hold.
You're saying that, but Yo is going in, and Yo's got monks converting behind, and every knight that he converts is another unit Nikov has to kill before he can go on to these eagles. A lot of weak knights there, but Yo took a disastrous fight, and Nikov is going to be able to clear up the eagle numbers.
Yeah, and I talked about this prior to the series because I think we've seen it for both players. The fact that there is a bit of stress, and they got to get used to this whole land feel. I think we've seen both players in this game number 1 kind of make some awkward decisions at times, and it's going to open the game up here. There's going to be a couple monks for the taking here. Nikov can snowball this if he kills those monks. They don't have any faith right now. Oh, man, I cannot believe Yo took that fight right there.
Well, I think it's benefiting Yo as Nikov. Look at that, escaping with those knights. How much HP on? Never mind.
They're dead.
Curse of the caster there as all 3 knights go down. I was about to say it was amazing control from him to pull it away, but Mr. Yo is managing to equal the playing field here, and the military numbers are now 10-6. We've lost a lot in the last minute. I was going to say, teching into pikemen early is now helping Yo so much as he's able to just spam units in there, and those low-value units can get so much in return. As Yo takes game number 1, Nikov taps out, and Mr. Yo, with that early aggression, Nikov unfortunately running his scouts right into the defensive army from Yo, unable to do anything early, and Yo just carries that one home.
And that's one I think you can shake off easily if you're Nikov, because you're just like, I let the pressure get to me.
Yep.
I just didn't scout well in feudal, and he was just a little too reactive. I think when you have those 2 to 3 scouts, you have to be trying to defend from the men-at-arms with palisade walls and then sending the scouts to the opponent's base. He'll know all this. Yo, I think, will be very happy with taking game number 1. That takes a lot of that pressure we spoke of off your shoulders. And we'll see what happens here. You'll see what Nikov chooses to go for on his draft.
Hippo Arena.
Hippo Arena might actually be where he needs to go next because it's so well known that Yo doesn't really like Arena. Yo, look at the difference. Nikov's like, all right, let's hydrate. And then Yo's like, give me energy.
It's interesting, though, that Yo got Burgundians in his draft. I know they were nerfed with the newest patch, so now it's down to 33% discount on the eco upgrades, but you still get them an age earlier, and Burgundians on Hippo Arena, arguably like the best civ there. And he also has Turks there.
Yeah.
So a lot of options.
Yeah, and you know, having Turks and Burgundians is interesting. I'm trying to use process of elimination here.
I think Nikov could play, he could play a Cuman approach on Hippo Arena.
Yeah.
I've seen it work. Or Poles, even though Poles also got 8% now from the farm drop-off rather than 10%.
Yeah, there's a world where, I mean, Cumans I'm a little unsure on for Nikov, but I think it would make a lot of sense to do Poles on Hippo Arena.
I think it might be Cumans on Hippo Arena. It might be.
Okay, yep. Mongols possibly
and
for
then
Golden Swamp.
Persians is either Frigid Lake or Kawasan, or you could even make an argument for them on Golden Swamp, but likely Kawasan or Frigid Lake.
Yeah, I think like Dravidians, Persians will be on those maps for sure. Yeah, and I'm happy to see Dravidians. You know, it feels like their eco flexibility, cheaper infantry upgrades gives them really strong early game. We'll see how good they are if the game goes on for a long time, right? Like, there is some question marks on that civilization.
Dravidians is a civ that, when I think about it, suits Nikov so well. Because Nikov is all about those fast builds, right?
Yep,
getting up super quickly and instant aggression. And Dravidians, you don't have to build an extra house if you have the dock. It gives you 5 extra population, and you get 200 wood immediately in Feudal Age. And a player like that, like Nikov, can utilize that so well, and he can capitalize on that for some insane aggression. Also, the infantry being cheaper, the infantry upgrades being cheaper is huge for them too.
Yep. Yeah, we'll see. What will Nikov want to do? The competition is tight here today. I mean, we have the 10 best players in the world right now here, so it will always be competitive. You probably do not want to go down 2-0.
Small trees. There it is. See?
I kind of miss the big trees now. No, not going to lie.
Say it. Don't say it.
Not going to lie.
You're making thousands of enemies right now. Yo, playing as Burgundians here as we suspected, and Nikov using the Cumans here. Saw it a lot through the qualifiers, the Cumans approach, and usually what the approach is here with humans, especially if you're against a civ like Burgundians that'll want to grab the relics, is you go for that second TC early. So it's a super early uptime. You make the scouts in feudal age while booming up your eco behind, and then by the time you get to castle age, you still have an equal amount of villagers, but more total resources gathered versus your opponent, and you can go Imperial right away. And then you can go for that forward castle and start to snowball with your Imperial age timing. So maybe that's what Nikov is going for here with this approach. I think Hippo Arena is a bit more difficult because there's so much space. You can't really trap them into their arena, so if Yo ever gets out, it might be an issue, but I think humans are a good choice.
Yeah. I think what separates this from Regicide Fortress and maybe Standard Arena is the distance between the two. So, you know, something we've seen a lot of on the other maps I just mentioned is kip checks, fast imp, forward castle. I actually think instead of the fast imp approach, we would maybe see like the 3rd and 4th town center added in castle age here, and maybe see the humans take the super late game. But I'm excited to see Yo playing with the new and what's the opposite of improved? Unimproved?
New and nerfed.
No, don't say nerfed. That one is something else.
Well, we can see, I mean, we'll see if this button works, but we can see what exactly is going on here with the Burgundians as we see the economic upgrades now costing minus 33% food. It used to be 40.
Used to be 50.
And they also, oh yeah, true. And they also have a lot of other things that benefit them on closed maps like this, like Burgundian Vineyards getting you more gold, Flemish Revolution, if you want to go for that approach. So there's a lot of things that Burgundians do well on a map like Hippo Arena. Yeah,
and you know, for the humans, we pretty much mentioned their bonuses. They definitely don't have as many things to go ooh about like I did earlier. So it's the 2nd town center in feudal age, which can be incredibly strong, and then cheaper archer ranges, cheaper stables. There are some unique techs we can talk about, but that's it for now.
And that was a quick uptime from Nikov, and there's the 2nd town center already. So he's going to start his boom. Now, it takes a while for the resources collected. You can keep an eye on this with this wonderful overlay at the bottom right. You can see total resources collected. So Nikov is behind right now because he's spending the time to go up to feudal age, spending the time with those villagers to build that 2nd TC, which actually builds slower than a normal TC in the feudal age for humans as sort of like a balancing element. But he will catch up, and he will surpass.
Yo is so crazy. This is showing arena inexperience. You never have your scout on the field in feudal if you are not in feudal. Or, sorry, you never have your scout on the field here when your opponent's in feudal, and all Nikov just missing that. Well, that should be a dead scout right there.
Well, there is. It's not like Standard Arena, right? Hippo Arena, there's so much space to be out here. So Yo is just scouting a little bit. And also, on Hippo Arena, you're not really looking for the relics because the relics are always in the same spots. You're looking for those extra golds and extra stones.
Yep. Yeah, and so you're less likely to see all-in monks in this tourney because those relics are so far apart. So Yo's going to go Blacksmith Market. There is always a question on what approach you'll take, and this could bring us back to the point we just mentioned. We might see less scout control for the middle if the relics are further apart. And it's going to be more economic based. For now, Yo has collected more resources, but Nikov's going to grow in a villager lead here, and the resources collected is going to swing heavily towards Nikov. So that's why Yo wants to get the 2nd and 3rd town center. But what are you thinking, Dave? Like, it really feels like this is going to be a big boom build. Certainly, Yo's going to have to go 3 TCs, but would you like to see Nikov take map control with scouts? Like, what's going through your mind?
I want to see the scout approach into fast imp because I think if you play late game humans against Burgundians, you're going to lose.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think humans really have all the options they need against Burgundians.
Yeah, and it's just such a big imp window you can have.
And he misses the scout again.
Yeah, he misses it again. On the bright side here, like Yo has the same attack, whereas Yo wouldn't have before.
Yeah, more speed on the human scout though. So if Nikov gets the first hit, Yo's out of luck.
Yep. So you're saying that you want to see scouts into kip checks?
I want to see scouts into fast imp with trebs, and kip checks are like kind of like like ketchup and mustard on the hot dog is like the primary condiment, and then you maybe add a little bit of relish. They're like the relish.
I mean, relish is a really important part of the hot dog.
It is an important part. It's important. But it's not like you're not thinking relish when you're thinking hot dog. You know, you think ketchup and mustard.
You're giving the kip check more credit than I expected coming into this tourney, and I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I just listen. All right, at some point this tournament, we're going to see someone rely on kip checks, and then they're just going to lose all faith in the unit because it sucks.
Okay, that's fair. 10 best players in the world, making kip check feel like it should be a pretty good unit. But we have a barracks now from Yo. And this is very uncommon, right? Typically, if you're going to go for the barracks, you're going to have done it earlier in the game. So Yo changing his approach, and it looks like he's just going to add Spearman for the time being.
Okay, so Yo is going to go into Spearman to defend his monks. Now, if you're going to go with Spearman against a player, especially with humans that have faster scouts, you're going to have like 4 Spearmen going out with every monk. Or you're going to have to be real sneaky with it, or real lucky with it. It's another approach.
This might be a little harsh, but Nikov didn't do the best job with his scout control in the first game, right? He lost a lot of scouts to Spearman, so maybe Yo feels like he could get some pickoffs again. And Dave, I'm staring at the resources collected, and I'm almost baffled. It's 46 eco versus
No, dude.
27.
This is what happens. I explained this earlier. Like, I've been watching this for ever since Capture Age had that total resources. It will spike here as Yo evens up the villager count. Is right about the time that Nikov's going to be ahead by like 4 or 5K. Because villagers take time to gather
with the
those
farms,
resources.
right? But still, like the difference is normally a lot more obvious at this stage of the game. I think the fact that Yo has the eco that he has right now and is going for 3 TCs is going to be pretty good for his long term. Love the TC on stone. That won't be immediate stone mining, but that gives Yo the opportunity to flex into that later on.
This is a sign that shows me that Yo just doesn't like arena that much.
What, the spearman thing? Just following the
one
monk?
Spearman, the laziest approach. Grabbing the relics. And if you told Yo that's a really lazy approach, he'd be like, yeah, it probably is.
Well, he has stopped, though. What he was doing initially was the guard. He's actually controlling the spear.
But it doesn't matter. It's still a dead monk.
No, not necessarily.
Unless Nikov doesn't notice it. Nikov sees it now, and he's coming back over with his scout. He could have killed that monk easily. And now he's going to have to contend with the spearman and the scout. So I'd like to see another scout coming over in that direction from Nikov. There's no way that relic gets home. Yeah, that relic is not getting home.
Yeah, good job from Nikov. He had his scout split up because he was paying attention to all the relics. And now, like, even killing this scout.
Killing that is huge value because Yo doesn't have a stable. Nikov doesn't know that he doesn't have a stable. He can suspect it, but he doesn't know for sure yet. But killing that scout would mean that Nikov's monks, when he gets to Castle Age, will be relatively safe.
Yep. The positive here for Yo is that he just didn't want to overinvest into the middle. He wants to get a better Vil count. So if he can get that relic home, which he really needs to be sending now.
Nikov's sending another
he's
scout
still on
to
3
the south.
CCs here.
We see it there. North of that monk. It's prowling around, and it's looking. He sees that the relic has disappeared there. Yo is kind of like debating him, the fact that he hasn't moved. So Nikov's like, where the hell did that relic go? And he will... No, he didn't see it.
There's a lot of space there. And he's doing some stuff at home, too. Nikov's going to get forging now. And he has a couple of villagers on stone. But, Dave, I'm telling you, right now, Nikov wants to go for the 3rd and 4th TC in the next stage. He's mining stone so he can drop that next town center,
I think he's mining stone so that he can be prepared for a castle, but I don't know.
Maybe both. Maybe both, right? And we'll have to actually see how he
doesn't have. He doesn't have quite enough on gold to be going for the faster Imperial Age approach.
Yeah.
He would need more on gold. So maybe it's a 3rd TC into Imperial Age. If it's 4 TCs, I don't really know what the game plan is if you're going super late game against Burgundians.
Yeah, I think you can still have an early imp push. It's just, it's not quite as early.
And he has gone for the 3rd TC. So you were right, and he's got 0 on gold right now. So he's not going for that faster Imperial strategy.
I want to see him. I actually would love to see him go for the 4th TC right on that forward gold. Just like get a crazy eco here. And I wouldn't mind, like, we're talking about the late game because we'll probably go there. The Cuman Paladins are superior to Burgundian Paladins. The Hussars spam really fast. They both get good halbs. They both kind of have weak range units. Like, Burgundian range units are nothing to really get excited about. So maybe, I mean, I'm with you, right? Because the issue is the Kip check is a situational unit. It's not as
now it's situational. I see. Now it's situational.
Don't. I want to say don't start, but I started it, so. But no, it is a situational unit. In most people's eyes, it's just
Nikov.
Maybe the Kip check is something that Nikov believes in, in combination with Paladin or Hussar.
How many monks has Yo lost now? 3, 4, 4?
Well, he has 1 relic, so I'd say 2.
Res destroyed, 540. I think he's lost a couple spearmen, and
he lost a scout at one point. So you can feel free to do the math on that, but probably like 4.
Yep.
So
we're gonna say 4.
I think we're going to see a 4 TC from Yo as well. There's just so much space here, man. Like, this is going to be... We might even see a 5 TC boom from somebody in this event on this. Maybe even 6, back to, like, 2005.
Okay, Step Lancer now being added in by Nikov. Interesting. After he got Light Cav too.
Yeah.
If you want to find value against the Spearmen with Step Lancers here, you're going to have quite a few of them. One is not going to cut it.
But still, Spearmen are just so bad. Like, they're still, this is a dumb statement, but they're just spears. Like, they don't get the pikeman bonus damage. They don't have a lot of HP. So I think a couple units, especially if Nikov could heal up his Light Cav before he takes an engagement, would be fine. And he saw the monk there. He's going back for it. I love Nikov's play here.
Oh, he almost got in.
So close.
If he had a Step Lancer there.
Yeah, might have been able to poke it, yeah.
Poke it over the gate. There's the university now from Mr. Yo. His farming eco is looking pretty solid, but Nikov's already got 42 farms. And if Nikov was on gold a little bit earlier, he might be in a position to click up soon, but instead, he's got 10 villagers queued, and he has 800 food in the bank. Like, now is maybe an argument to use the market and sell some of that food, get the gold in the bank so that you can hit that timing.
And I also think that if you aren't doing that, you just want to clear up any army that Yo has soon.
Yep.
And I think you can spend the food on armor, for example, spend the food on bloodlines, to just make the army you have stronger. It's not going to delay your Imperial Age that much more.
I'm so confused with the Step Lancer edition because they don't have the conversion resistance either. So you can see Nikov already like pulling those away. Like they're not giving him any value. If anything, they're giving him negative value here because it's an easier unit to convert.
Yeah, but I mean, he's booming, right? And he's got a massive ill lead. He's still picking off the monks.
Look at the food though. Like he needs to sell. Yo is already selling, and Yo's trying to hit that imp timing, and there we go. It's in. Nikov, I think, like just kind of mismanaged the villagers on gold when he sent them out there.
I don't think he has a market, by the way.
Well, he's gonna. There it is.
There it is. Okay, so he has the market and
sell 700 food.
Yeah, takes a fight here. And he's going to end up losing the majority of his units here. And, you know, again, with all that food, Dave, you got to question, like, is Nikov really where he wants to be currently? Yo's going to just add more spears. And I guess it's just going to be Halb opening for Yo. He does have stone for a castle right now, and he's not dropping it. So I think he's going to end up going...
Food. Sorry, I'm whispering.
That's a loud whisper.
Sell it! Sell the food! Oh, 1,600 food in the bank, and he's just waiting for the gold to go up. Nikov!
I understand what you're saying. I actually don't even think it's that bad, though, because of how many villagers he has and how much space is between the two. Like, there's no immediate pressure here. Yo isn't going to have trebs. Yo doesn't have a castle yet. Like, Yo's actually going to be a position in Imp where he arrives there, and he's kind of like, well, what do I do?
But map control is huge, and this is what it's going to give him. The Halb opening is going to give him map control. And then he can go with a castle. And that's what he's doing with the villagers right now. And even if Nikov takes out that forward castle, it's going to give Yo so much control over the other areas of the map. And the map position here is even more valuable than a normal arena because there's all this extra resources.
Really, really surprised that Yo didn't drop this castle earlier. He's had the stone for so long. Guess he didn't have the pikes.
He didn't have the map control. And there we go. Now he's got the map control. Nikov's got a couple monks out there, but we got more pikemen in the queue here from Mr. Yo. He's going to hit Imperial Age soon. He can go for Halberdier right away if he has a little bit more gold. He's actually got to sell some wood or food now to be able to afford
someone needs to sell some food.
Someone needs to sell
something. The prices are going to be great. Yeah.
Yeah. And Nikov is going to try and take out another monk. Yo doesn't get the conversion, but Nikov loses that light cav, and it's chemistry.
No.
Horse
Nikov.
collar right away for Mr. Yo, and Nikov is going into
fatal mistake.
What do we think he's making here, Tristan?
He's not gonna have a castle to make kip checks.
I know.
Like this, when you see your opponents building a forward castle, you oftentimes have to assume they're imp faster than you. I guess Nikov was on the way up. But now this timing for Yo is going to end up looking a whole lot
I'm just
greater.
going to say he could have been an imp already. Nikov could have been an imp.
Maybe.
If he had used the market, it would have been a very similar uptime. But instead, he gets there with tons of food in the bank, tons of gold in the bank, and he's going for thumb ring. He's actually going into kipchecks here, and Tristan is sighing because he knows that I'm right. And he's just, oh man, this is beautiful, beautiful moment here.
I'm trying to think about what Nikov needs to do to spend his res.
Oh, he's going into crossbow. What?
No, I think he might try Cav Archer, honestly.
He's researching crossbow.
Or Skirm. Yeah, the big question marks over what you make, because you do not get ARB. And then even if you do go for archery range units,
you don't get bracer.
Yeah, you don't get bracer.
That's why you don't go for crossbow. But he has found this TC in the north, and the step lancers are going to mean the villagers can't easily wall themselves in, and Yo's going to lose both of these villagers, so that's good, I suppose. But Nikov, like you said, isn't going to have the castle for kip checks. He's getting all the text that he needs for range units, and he's going to crossbow with humans. I don't think I've ever seen this in an Imperial Age transition.
I mean, crossbow hussar can actually kill just Halb bombard cannon, which is kind of the crazy thing. Yo doesn't have Halb yet. Yo is still 40 villagers behind. Nikov can hold this temporarily, but I think one thing that would have been amazing for Nikov, and it's such an awkward thing when you're under pressure, is actually siege ram. Spending all the food on the rams, it would allow you to push into that castle and push back the cannons and the traps.
I don't know, because how do you deal with the Halbs?
Oh, I like this.
You know what?
Do you see what he's clicked?
He's going Elite Step Lancer. And
I like.
You know what? Maybe this is something that we haven't seen, but Nikov has labbed out. Maybe he's figured out that as underwhelming as it seems, crossbow with just chemistry and bodkin with step lances in front is a good combination. I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I can't speak from experience, but maybe Nikov has found out a unit composition that nobody knew about is deadly.
Or he was just like, why am I going crossbow?
he's having a mid-game crisis right now.
What else can I do? Oh man, now again, like the Halb upgrade hasn't been in yet for Yo. So let's see if Yo's gonna have anything more, but he does have a lot of food. He did take out the castle, and now he has time. He'll see the step lancers. And for those wondering about the step lancers, you don't see a late step lancer that frequently. But it's able to take really good engagements because of that one range. And look at Nikov go!
Crossbows.
He says, just give me crossbows. I don't care if I don't get bracer. Are you kidding?
Bro, crossbows are kind of putting in work. They've already got the value back, right, that he put into them. They killed 2 bombard cannons, and now the castle is going down. Nikov loses the treb, though. Yo hits that, and Nikov is now going to have to keep this treb alive because he doesn't have that castle forward. Meanwhile, in the south, it looks like Yo has discovered Nikov's TC down there, and he's going to be raiding and denying that TC.
Also,
so good expansion there from Mr. Yo.
Nikov, I mean, he's losing villagers now, so it makes sense. He's just creating vills all the time. He's not paying attention. He's so stressed. He has 160 vills. He doesn't actually have the pop space to create that much army right now.
Yep. And he's trying to keep that treb alive. If that treb goes down, that
Nikov's
is
gonna
terrible for Nikov.
Nikov's going to throw his mouse across the room, and everyone's going to see it.
The bomber cannon is out from Yo, though, and the step lancers just died, eating themselves into the trebs the north of that castle. Bomber cannon's trying to get a hit. It gets half HP, but the bomber cannon goes down. Can Nikov keep this treb alive? One more shot, the treb goes down, and now there's nothing working away on that castle from Mr. Yo, so Mr. Yo can be way more comfortable there, still raiding with halberdiers in the back, being very annoying, and still has full map control.
And he's only making trash and cannons, so this is actually valuable time for Yo to start to think about his next move. I would love to see Paladin here. It's cheap for Burgundians. You can just tech into it before you're even making the units. And for Nikov, Dave, a lot of this was rushed. He doesn't have any armor on his step lancers. He's been making crossbowmen. He just hasn't really known what to do.
That treb was in range of that castle foundation. Like, Yo could have taken that out with one hit. He didn't notice it in time. He was targeting the stables. But still, Nikov is putting another castle fully within range of the siege that's already there for Mr. Yo.
Yep.
He needs this castle for treb production, and he's going to have to put stone into repairing that. He has 0 on stone right now. 0 on stone, so he's going to need to buy stone, and that's gold that he needs to produce more units. It's just kind of, it's all over the place for Nikov. He's still surviving, but Mr. Yo is making do with just trash and siege currently, which means he has a ton of resources. Like, look at his resources. 1,500 food, 1,500 gold. Like you said, he could go Paladin.
Yeah, I think it's wise to, as we see some amazing shots there, I think it's wise to probably start that tech switch. But the truth is he can just continue doing this as well. And if he starts to get that tech switch going, it's possible that maybe he would, not being able to pay attention to his army as much. So he's focusing on the task at hand. We see Burgundian vineyards now, so his farmers are actually going to bring in gold.
Crossbows. Actually good against bomber cannons. Who knew?
This is going to be a new thing. It's like, Dave, crossbow or kip check?
I'll take the crossbows.
Oh, man. Nikov did realize a moment ago that he was overbooming. He deleted villagers, and he stopped creating
Bro,
them,
I don't think
but it's too late.
if you're Nikov, I don't think you make that second castle there, man. We can already see the weakness. He's got 50 on gold, but just didn't have the time to keep buying stone.
Yep.
And the castle goes down already. He got himself 2 treads out of it, and he's still sniping bomber cannons, so now he's pressuring the castle once again. But Yo wisely sends villagers forward immediately, and Yo is just kind of hanging out near this castle. He's getting his techs in slowly. You can see Cavalier, Blast Furnace coming in, and he will get Paladin eventually and then be in a position to push Nikov back. Nikov did a good job grabbing that gold in the south, but it's just not enough. And this is a terrible position for Nikov because Yo hates Arena, Yo expects to lose on Arena, and Yo just won Arena.
Yeah, and Yo played pretty good there, right? He got 2 relics, even though he didn't have any scouts. He had good economy. We do see everyone rushing over to the computers now, and we'll find out what that's about later. But anyways, I was really impressed with how Yo played that, and it definitely felt like for Nikov, and this is a little awkward because you might be able to hear my loud voice down the hallway right now with his headphones out, but it just really felt like he didn't have much of a plan. Like he didn't know what unit he wanted to go for after he got the eco rolling.
Also, the timing, I think the timing to Imperial Age was just, it was like a minute and a half too late. We saw the difference there between when Yo hit Imp and when Nikov hit Imp. He was behind by a minute and a half. He had that food in the bank the entire time. And if he was going for the 4 TC approach, even with that, your imp timing needs to be better. Your villagers going on to gold need to be faster. And just some miscalculations there from Nikov. And unfortunately for him, Yo played pretty well. Like, Yo immediately went into Halb, Pikeman, and then Halb. He had 4 barracks spamming, which means he had full map control because Nikov took a bad fight near his base, and he got the forward castle up. And then suddenly Nikov is just spending all of his Imperial Age trying to survive when he should be the one making tech switches, you know, going into Paladin potentially, like you said. But he's in survival mode. He's buying stone. He's repairing his castle constantly.
You know what I think could have worked really well there? And on paper, it actually would have looked quite bad. But remember when Nikov was floating all that food, he wasn't going up to Imp, and he had made 2 step lancers. What if he made like 10 more? He would stop. Yo didn't have the pike numbers. Yo had like 8 pikes. Yo was walking across the map. If Nikov would have done that, he would have held map control. Even just light cav, just like 10 to 15 more light cav with an upgrade or 2 would have held the map control, and then suddenly that's a different game.
I think it would have delayed Yo to Imp probably by a minute. Or
possibly.
You know, it definitely delays the castle in the center. It keeps yourself safe. But I think at the end of the day, it's just like when Nikov decided he wanted to click up to Imp, he wasn't in a position to do so.
Absolutely.
He didn't have the gold in the bank. He didn't have the villagers on gold. I think he had like 6 or something. And just the timings were a little bit messed up. And then the map control just kind of snowballs out of your favor. And it's a problem. So here we go. Nikov, I mean, has 1 more home map left. It's Frigid Lake. He's got Dravidians that he'll probably use here. Either Dravidians or Persians, likely, because Kawasan is still on here. And Mr. Yo, well, he's got Japanese. He's got Vikings probably for Golden Swamp. And Khmer maybe for Frigid Lake as well.
And there might be some people saying, like, you know, Yos can just chill now and take it easy. But honestly, the dream scenario for Yo is a 3-0, and then you get to hide strats, right? So you go into later group stage games or sets, and they don't know your preferences going into that draft. So I'm kind of excited for Yo and to see what this week's going to look like for him. Obviously for Nikov, I think it's been a little shaky here. And we're not quite seeing the Nikov that we know is he's capable of bringing to the show. But, yeah, I mean, Dravidians, Persians, I think either words could be good here. But I would have maybe said it on Arena, but I really do think that, like, Nikov's insane with his builds on these types of maps, right? So, but with Yo, it's the same thing every time. If he can just make it to Castle Age, he's in even position, he's going to dominate most players. It is really early feudal that is Yo's weakness these days. That's why the players he struggles against most would probably be like Liereyy or like Hera or Viper. But so consistent, so smooth. Yo had a very long nap yesterday from what I heard, right? Like he got in, I think, 2 days ago, slept like the entire day yesterday just trying to get rested. But certainly no questions over his shape right now. So cool to see these two in the same room together. And we're going to hop into game number 3, and it is going to be on a Frigid Lake. Now, you cannot build farms where the swamp terrain is, guys. So that makes it awkward for the later stages. That is why Yo has gone for Khmer, Dave.
Yeah, less awkward for Khmer because you can just place farms wherever you want. Unfortunately, there are issues with that, though, because sometimes with Khmer, people place farms and then don't place a wall or anything.
True,
and then extremely raidable. It's not uncommon to see 10 villagers go down in a raid in one of these Frigid Lake maps, especially in mid-Castle Age. But we can see the build already from Nikov with Persians going for that dock a lot earlier than Mr. Yo. And Mr. Yo... Does he contest the water, or does he go for a surprise sort of early upland approach?
I think just going land is the way to go here, because going for the early water control with Persians is just not something you can really do yourself if you're a Khmer.
Yep.
But I want to show Nikov's build real quick. So Persians start with plus 50 food and plus 50 wood. So he went for the dock immediately, and now he's taking the straggler trees to get enough wood for the lumber camp. So this is a really good build. You can see now some of the other bonuses for the Persians. I think more than anything, the bonuses that will be relevant here, the TCs and docks having more HP, and then the work rate, which kicks in feudal age.
Mm-hmm. Persians are kind of one of those civs that they've kind of been left behind here a little bit, right? Last NAC, we thought they were so strong because they got the extra production in Dark Age, and it shows how good some of the new civs coming in have been, that even if we add that back, maybe they're not as powerful as they once were, but they're still very, very good on maps like Frigid Lake for the reasons that you explained. So Yo is going to go for that fast feudal approach.
This is really fast.
He's going up super quickly, and it looks like he's going to be going into archers potentially.
Mm-hmm. That could also be for a dock. So
it could be. Yeah, he's sending 2 villagers forward now, so it might be for a dock.
And I'm wondering if he goes for galleys or fire galleys. I think fire galleys is what most people tend to do, but galleys do kill fishing ships faster.
They won't kill the dock, though. Nothing will kill the Persian dock.
The Persian dock will just stand there forever.
It will stay up forever. And Yo's actually going for a forward dock, or is he going for a forward range?
I think he's going to go forward range. Now, remember on Arabia how the scouting was a talking point, right?
Yep.
Like, this is a big theme this week.
Nikov's
with the 9
miss the
villagers start.
No, he sees the vills. Nikov knows exactly what's happening here, and he pulls the fishing ships away.
Yeah. And that should tell Nikov as well that his fishing ships will be safe.
Ooh.
Or will they?
If you saw the vills moving that way, you do not expect them to cut back and then make a dock.
Agreed.
That's going to be very surprising. Now, notice also that Nikov has sent his fishing ships to the center there because he doesn't want the scout to harass his ships. And now he's going to see the villagers, and he's going to be like, what are they doing there?
Yeah, I don't know. Wait. Initially, I was thinking he was going to wall it, but you can't wall in that terrain. So certainly, Yo doing some confusing things here. He's just going to make a house?
And Nikov's going to get up to feudal, and now Yo needs to get as far away from that water as possible with these villagers.
Can we see if Nikov scouted that dock, though? He was really close to it.
I don't think he did. He didn't scout the dock.
Well, that's Yo's POV. No, he doesn't know about it. Wow. Okay, so Nikov has reacted thinking this is going to be archers or scouts and made a barracks.
Make a dock on Nikov's water now.
Wait, did Yo make a demo? Did Yo open with a
He did, and he's going for the fish.
Is he? I don't know what's happening right now. Guys, this is the first series.
He's waiting for them to go back to the fish so they can stack up and he can get both of them with one.
But it's not worth it. You just make a fire. You would have killed them already.
Look at this. No, you killed them right away. And then you don't have
a ship anymore.
Yeah, that's fine, but he doesn't have 2 ships. And now you go for the archer range. I think it's fine, dude. I think it's really good because the fire takes so long to kill the fish.
Yeah, that's true. That could have been. That was definitely part of his thinking. And Nikov, which is kind of funny, now he doesn't have fish, but he did know the villagers were somewhere, and he's done a good job at tracking them here.
Yep. And now Yo is trying to take out that scout. Nikov doing a really good job. He's going to lose the scout there, but Yo's scout can't engage against the villagers, and Yo, fortunately for him, does get the archer range up. Nikov has added fish behind because he's like, he only made 1 demo, limited investment, I can add fish safely. No, that's not the case. Yo has made a follow-up galley, fire galley, and I like the demo into galley approach because it kills the fish 100%. You're not messing around with anything.
Yeah, and the most beautiful thing
here
is the house. The house actually comes in clutch.
Quarantine.
Yo is an amazing player to watch. Oh, my God.
Yeah, and he walked all the way back through Nikov's base to get to the safety of that house, too. He didn't even go around.
Too bad he didn't prep another house. I think this villager will end up going down.
No fletching. This guy's getting to the house. Get into the house.
He's used the scout to distract. The scout lays down his
safe.
life.
Now, they don't heal in these, and I
Are
cannot
you
believe
kidding me?
that Yo is sending this villager over to repair. There is no way this guy is going to repair the fire galley. Oh, my
now
God.
I'm tilted. Are the casters allowed to be tilted? Because I'm tilted for Nikov right
This
now.
is such a good play from Yo, though. This is Yo doing Yo things.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
so
kind of,
good.
it's so random, but it's working.
It's so good, man. And like, it immediately ruins any plan you had for early feudal if you're the Persians. And now, if it gets messy, you can place those farms at wherever
And
you need back at home.
Yo can add the odd fishing ship here because he won the 1v1 on the fires. He has the villagers there to repair. He's still got. Are those still those 2 weak fills, or did he send 2 more?
There's still the 2 weak vills. But these archers are actually huge from Nikov. If he can keep these alive, he will have a counterattack. There's no military buildings at home, and that does hurt. Nikov
It's only
is
one with no
distracted.
fletching. It's not that big of a deal, and Yo already has the tower on his wood line.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting he placed that tower. I'm curious if he placed the tower. I mean, he certainly placed the tower before we saw it. Maybe I didn't notice it there.
Yep.
But that's a pretty early tower, so we had expected a counter of some kind.
And look at this. Yo's going to add another fishing ship. I think he won't go past like 3 on the middle area there, but that's going to be a nice little benefit.
Let's talk about one thing that is giving Nikov a big chance here, and that's that idle TC time for Yo. Yo, 2 minutes of idle TC time.
Ooh,
So when
against
he's-
Persians, too.
So when he's saving the villagers and doing all this fancy stuff, he wasn't able to
Yep.
stick with the basics there. So great job from Nikov not to lose a lot more this game. And he still has like the archer forward. He's microed his weak villagers away so he can
Still
get fletching
idling
here.
Mr. Yo. And he's getting town watch, too.
Did he get housed
Well,
then?
he's
He got
housed.
housed.
Yeah, he's
Oh, that's
housed.
bad. Yeah.
I mean, he is adding the fishing ship, so you can see the total eco count. Not that different. It's 4 different, and he's adding another fishing ship now, so it's going to be only 3. But still, Yo is adding in scouts now. He's only got 8 on food, and he's already had idle TC time, and it continues to tick
Yep.
upwards. Yo has the pressure, but Nikov is sticking to the fundamentals and is better macro so far this game.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely. And I like how Nikov isn't giving up on the water since he knows there's fish. We're going to see that Persian dock stay alive for a very long time. Nice little palisade drop. Villagers just going to be able to sit there and repair. And we'll see what happens.
he won't be able
here.
to sit there for very long.
Oh, yeah.
As
This
here come the
villager-
archers.
This villager's going to be like, what gives? I can't get in my own house? Like, what's the deal here?
Yep. That's not her house.
No, I
That's
guess
someone
that
else's
might,
house.
That might be it, yeah. Well, okay. Honestly, I'm not sure it was necessary for Nikov to move out to repair the dock in the first place, but he does pick off the archers, so he's in a nice spot, and he should counterattack again, in my opinion. There's nothing else to do with those archers right now, and he can just wait it out. I think he should probably have a demo in his dock, Dave, and just go for the water control.
Nikov's starting to add farms there. He needs a mill around those farms. Yo can add farms behind, but Yo's got fishing ships right now, and we can see those lovely Khmer farms as Yo now goes to the stone.
One big thing is Yo didn't start taking his berries until just now. Nikov's almost finished those berries.
And look at the walla from Nikov right around that front water. He's going to secure all of that eco behind, and of course Yo's range is forward. So there's nothing at home to defend this other than the scouts. Nikov does not have the spearmen forward with those archers, so that could be a huge steal.
Yeah, there are some weak archers
Oh,
there.
there they are.
there
Never
they are.
mind. Good job from Nikov. He saw the stable from Mr. Yo. And now Yo is going to have to just delay these until he has enough stone to make a defensive tower. And those farms that are so easy for Yo to make are not being defended because he was late with the wall.
Yeah, and now you don't have the stone for the tower because you have to abandon the stone. And this is looking better and better for Nikov, despite the fact he still doesn't have as much on food. I'm still waiting. I think he's going to pop out with the demo in the middle as we speak. It's looking awfully close there. He can't wait that much
God, the
longer.
Persian dogs just survive forever. It's such an annoying civ to take off of water.
Speaking of annoying, Yo could be really annoying if he gets in with those scouts. He's chosen not to stay at home.
There's no areas. There's no areas to get in. And Nikov's going for a market now. Nikov will have more on food once those villagers finish building those walls. And he's stalling out the food from Yo.
Okay, so what Nikov's going to do is he's going to pop out with one ship to try and group the fires from Yo together, and then he's going to use the demo.
Or he just pop out with
Or he's just not going to do that at all.
everything.
Okay. Well, yeah, you know.
I knew as soon as you said what Nikov's going to do, I knew he wasn't going to
It
do
was a
that.
good call, wasn't
I
it?
knew
It was a great
wasn't
call,
gonna
I have
do
to say, but he did not do it. And the scouts are not going to break through here. Yo does have that one archer, though, being really annoying. And Yo will maintain control on water. There is another demo on the way for Nikov. I have to say, buying food when you've got 7 on food and still only have 300 after purchasing it feels really bad for Nikov at the moment.
Yeah, he needs some more farming, and it looks like he's dropping some more farms at the back of his base. But he's still got these archers forward, and he's still denying the farms from Mr. Yo. I think you're almost getting value with these archers by just sitting here. You're denying the stone, you're denying the farms. Like, I don't think you really have to look for something else. That demo, do not pull it towards those villagers. Please, Mr. Yo. Just sacrifice the fishing ships can die, dude. Okay? Just do not pull that over there.
I didn't realize that's actually a really good move from Yo because he's needed the food. I didn't realize he had actually done that. But
it's risky, though. And you're also denying more fish from your fishing ships long term, right? So it's tough. And Yo, because he was kicked off the stone so early, doesn't have enough for another defensive tower on the gold. He's going to dive on these spearmen and these archers at the back. Not the best engagement for Mr. Yo immediately. He's going to take out the spearmen first, but already Nikov getting a ton of value there. And he has to delete the mining camp, and he's not even going to kill all the archers here?
Yeah, fighting without an armor upgrade or an attack upgrade is
God, that's
very weird.
That's disastrous. And man, Yo, not even able to take out a single archer there.
What a great job from Nikov. Like, the start to Yo was so good, and all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, you know, over the last 5 to 10 minutes, it has all been Nikov. Nikov with the counterattacks, Nikov with the macro. He's collected 1,300 more resources despite losing his fishing ships at the start and despite all the aggression that was at his base. So,
and now he can
very
go,
impressive.
He can go dock again. And if he gets the stock up with the 2 villagers, it's going to take another, like, 15 minutes for Yo to take it down.
But Nikov, it's Yo. Re-wall that palisade piece. Just that. Oh, it's going to bother me so much.
Okay.
So we'll see.
We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. I think we're going to see a forward stable
double
here.
bit axe from Nikov. Pog. Woo. Let's go.
It is so, like, funny because of the Nikov memes of Eco and whatnot. The fact that has a really good chance of winning this game after being down 2 games. And he didn't have eco upgrades in this one.
Well, there's a dock from Mr. Yo over on the side. He might spot the dock from Nikov. There's nothing he can do about it. This dock is going to have, what, like 4,800 HP or whatever, the one coming up from Nikov, and there's a second one too. So he just straight up takes back control over water, killing another villager here. And Yo has let this one slip. Yo has let this one slip big time. He's still not up to Castle Age. He's still trying to engage against these archers that have caused so much damage. He's going to take them out and finally secure his eco, but that's like 3 minutes too late.
Yep, absolutely. You know, while he had good kills early on and good aggression, he just really didn't have the economy, and Nikov counterattacked at the perfect time. Nikov will have a stable at home and 2 docks in the middle, and assuming he can afford War Galley, which he definitely can, I think he'll be taking the water control back to his...
There's an argument to not even go for War Galley here. If your opponent isn't up, I think you can just go Fire Galley from your 2 docks, and you'd be okay.
I think you expect he's up though, right? Like, you have to respect the fact that it is Mr. Yo.
He's got it queued up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just wait it out.
And you can sit in those docks forever.
The thing I'm curious on here though is that the only lands military we're going to see from Nikov is going to be 2 knights, and he doesn't have the greatest farming eco, so. If those 2 knights don't get a lot of value...
Why send a villager forward to repair that? You don't need to.
Oh, the dock? Instinct. That's instinct for you.
Yeah, he's forgetting he's playing Persians.
Yeah, that's definitely instinct. And again, it's all instinct here when you've got the nerves and everything. But but seriously, Nikov's food count is not going to be insane enough to have continuous night control. So he needs to get value here. If Yo's fully walled, Yo will have tons of farms, and I think Yo could take this to late game.
And I like the fact that Yo, as soon as he cleared up those archers, he sent like 4 villagers to wall up. He's like, yeah, I know this is an issue, but there's a hole. There's always a hole. And the knight is going to get inside. The safety of the town center is there, but there's no arrows coming out of that because there's no villagers nearby. Yo finds that hole immediately, so credit to him for realizing exactly where it was. As he's going to lose... No, he saves another villager, but still, nothing to deal with the knight immediately.
I would like to see Nikov use that knight that broke in to block a rewall behind for the other knight.
You'd like to see a lot of things this game.
I do. I have a very creative brain, and sometimes it just doesn't work out for me. But, again, I think Yo is okay if he can just keep this knight from killing villagers and drop a second town center, which I guess he doesn't really have the stone for currently. But the other knights are just not offering anything for Nikov right now.
So Yo is now in Castle Age, and Yo is going to... Well, he's not queuing up anything. He's got villagers on the way.
I think he's going to use his one knight at home to clear up the knight from Nikov, which still hasn't killed anything as far as I can see. Good job from Yo to be in and out of the houses there, and we will see a second town center for Yo. And while Nikov's got a nice, actually not even a nice lead, a massive lead with villagers. Holy cow. I still don't think he has that killer blow coming just yet.
Yeah, not yet, but I mean, he's definitely building up towards it. I'd still like to see a better food eco for Nikov. I mean, 58 villagers, he's only got 19 on food right now. He needs to expand his farming economy. Obviously, it's tough when you've got limited space, right? Now you know your opponent has knights, so you're going to have to wall out further, or maybe go for some extra town centers, as Yo is going for his second one right now. Nikov also adding in a couple more fishing ships, so maybe that's the approach for him. Take control of water and just take advantage of those fish in the middle as the knight now picks off another villager, and Nikov is still working away on that stable for Mr. Yo. He's gone for camels, which is an option that the Khmer do not have, and Mr. Yo has not gone for a barracks. He went immediately into the stable, so he doesn't have really any options against those camels just yet.
Yeah, Yo does have 5 knights, and there he just picks off a monk. We'll see if he can get the other one, but he did lose a knight here, so all things considered, I think this
that's good value.
It's okay for both players, possibly, you could say. One player loses 2 monks, other one loses 2 knights. But Yo is going to be able to stop Nikov from advancing here, and Yo knows it. So he's just going to send the knights out to the side and counterattack and defend with the monastery.
Deletes a wall, sends the knights out the other side. He knows where the main army from Nikov is. He knows he killed 2 monks, so there's not likely that many behind in defense. He just has to make sure that he doesn't let this stuff in. That farm's going to be awfully annoying, and I think Nikov should attack where that farm is, forcing Yo to delete it, but he's going to keep rolling around to the side, and Yo is running out of wood lines now. It's only a couple trees away from an overchop over there as the camel has found the wall that he deleted.
Yo's knights are forward. They just engaged. We have a monk there as well that forces a delete. Looks like a monk or a villager died there. And
almost a monk. That guy was testing.
And then here Yo needs to wall. It's so much work for both players right now.
That's gateable. Gateable.
Mark
gateable.
it, maybe?
Gateable.
Hello?
Oh, Nikov, no! Don't pull away!
Mark it!
Yo!
Mark it!
Mark it!
Ah!
Wow, doesn't work! It's not down in time, and now the houses are going to start filling up here as the villagers seek refuge.
That's bad. That's bad. Like, Yo is okay to rebound in this game because he has 3 TCs and Nikov doesn't even have the second. But now the army's actually in, and suddenly this looks so much worse for Yo.
If you're going for this counter-raid strategy, #1 priority, keeping the walls up at home. Because if the walls go down, there's nothing there.
Nikov killed one of the monks as well with his scout. Oh, this is perfect from Nikov.
Houses.
So well played.
Get in the houses. That almost looks like a town bell situation there as everyone is just heading towards the TC. Mr. Yo did not keep those walls up, and it looks like he hasn't found value with his forward army, and Mr. Yo is in a situation now that's just dire. I mean, Nikov is ahead by almost 20 villagers at the moment, and he's just capitalizing on his army control here, or his army advantage, rather.
So, again, such a great game from Nikov to recover, and I loved how even though we felt like it was inevitable that Yo wasn't going to allow these units in, he just kept pressuring, right? And he kept making Yo work for it, and eventually it made Yo break. Yo still in the game, you know, still thinking long-term here, but Nikov with all this map control should be able to get all the relics on the map. He's got 3 town centers now with some great eco upgrades as well. Yep.
I mean, only 4 fishing ships too, so he's really got his farm eco rolling. And Nikov now getting the eco upgrades that you love to see from him. That's how you know he's playing really well. He's getting heavy plow now. Wheelbarrow coming in for him too. And Mr. Yo is still struggling to deal with like 3 knights and a camel in the back of his base. He's got flags on all his houses.
Yeah, I actually like how Nikov left with some of his army there because it felt
3 converts. Delete this whole army. Delete the whole army.
Agreed.
Delete all of them.
Well, if you can kill 3 monks, though, I think it's worth it to donate the army. Let's see. That's okay.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah,
because you don't want Yo to be able to advance out and get relics and whatever else.
There's still so many holes in Yo's base. Isn't that a hole right there? No.
There's a stump there.
Okay, there's a tree.
Yeah.
All
right, so at this point, you know that Yo doesn't have monks. You know that Yo doesn't really have army. You have 2 options. You play it the super late game. We're seeing a 4 TC, so Nikov's going to try that. Or you kind of like really start to put your foot on the gas and go for the kill. I feel like with the positioning of Yo's gold, that's just asking for a forward siege workshop from Nikov. A little surprised we haven't seen that position pressured a little bit more.
God, look at the boom from Nikov now. 91 villagers. He's going for the 4th town center. 42 on food suddenly.
Crazy.
Nikov is in a great position. He's got more than enough gold in the bank. If he idles his TC for like a minute here, he can just click up the imp.
Yep. Now, some players love their all-in castle ages here because Persians have a kind of awkward early imp opening,
Yeah,
right?
it's like, what do you go for other than Cavalier?
Exactly. So it's like, do I want to wait for Cavalier, or can I just use all this eco now, get +2 armor, +2 attack with some siege, and just like push that? Even just attack those buildings in the front of Yo's base and then drop a castle there. Like, that could be good. But I think he's opting towards imp, right? He's not making more army.
That's the 3rd relic coming in, too.
Well, that's huge.
Yeah, Nikov, and he's got the 4th relic on the left side, too.
Nikov's playing really smooth. Like, this could be a big momentum swing for him. Remember that Kawasan, which is one of the other maps, is very similar to Frigid Lake in terms of like the hybrid aspect. Yo's gonna drop a barracks now, and this is always where like you're like, dang, I'm Khmer, right?
Yeah.
Like I didn't have my original barracks, right? So now I've got to like spend more time to get the pike switch going, which
God, it was such a good opening from Yo too. He just didn't. You can see the trade-off there, right? He went forward dock, forward range. Didn't have the food eco, and his idle TC punished him so hard. We could see Nikov with the villager advantage all through that early game, and he's just now spiraled out of control.
It's such a shame because sometimes being extremely creative hurts you, right? And Yo like did so many fancy things and just couldn't focus on some of the important things he needed with his economy.
Yeah, he's still in it though. I mean, we know that Yo will never give up easily.
Yep.
Unless it's like an arena map, right? And then sometimes he taps out early, but not in a map like this, not where he has raiding potential. And he still has 83 villagers of his own as the Khmer pikemen are making their way onto the field. Nikov is almost in a position to click up to Imperial Age. He's only 80 gold away. He does have the buildings, and bop, there he goes, on the way to Imp. Ooh, Nikov is going to have a really, really good setup once he gets this castle down.
Great timing from Nikov on this, right? Because if you're trying to go Imp and you're waiting on that army count, you're going to need a castle against the pikes and the monks. So Yo does see this, but Nikov's got enough villagers building this. There is still a question of what do you make in combination with your stable units, but I think with the castle there and then the navy, like Yo's just not going to be able to push.
Well, you could go, you see these pikemen, you could go commander in, you could go hand cannon, and it should be enough.
Yeah. You also could just go paladin. Like,
I mean, yeah,
eco.
especially if you take control of some of the golds. Like, there's a neutral gold on the left side.
Yeah.
The one on the right is a little bit far forward to take, and there's not that much extra gold on Frigid Lake. So paladin could be a risk.
Yeah, it is definitely a risk of some sort. That was really good, though, there. He killed all the monks. Look at Yo. Yo wants to drop a castle there, but almost similar to game number 2, where Yo had dropped the forward castle, and then Nikov had placed a defensive castle. Yo's going to find himself in the same spot Nikov was, where it'll be a castle war, and one person's going to have Trebs much earlier.
I think you just go into Cavalier for sure, and then you feel out the waters once Cavalier comes in. It gives you about like 2 minutes to figure out exactly where you are in the game before you figure out whether you want to go hand cannon approach or the paladin approach.
Honestly, if Persians had Bracer, like they had better skirmishers, a lot of people would be dropping ranges, but Nikov's just like, you know what,
I love that
screw it.
castle on the right.
That's good.
I love that so
I like
much.
The scout.
I know. I was about to say I would love to see an outpost here, but he's got a mobile outpost over here. He's got the scout hanging around. Unfortunately for him, Yo is going to discover these villagers. Unfortunately for Yo, with the camels there, not too much, or rather, only one camel. Pikemen coming in.
Too.
Demos from Nikov?
I think it's definitely a case of Nikov has enough army here where he just clears it anyways. He's also making the trebuchet. Unfortunately, we won't see the demo highlight because the pikemen are going to be gone. So,
okay, so
Nikov can be back over to
the villagers will still come forward for a castle. Yo's going to know there's some sort of shenanigans going on that right side because the villagers are making their way over. And it's chemistry coming in for Nikov, so I think he's going to go for the hand cannon or bomber cannon approach here as Yo's castle will about to be trebbed down over there. And Nikov is just supporting everything on the right side. This is good to get the castle up, but it's also bad in that you have no army over on the left to potentially defend your castle if Yo hits Imperial Age fairly soon.
I do find it kind of comical that we have seen human crossbow, but we won't see Commander on crossbow, where the crossbows cost only wood. But maybe we will, right? Nikov's going to take a good fight. I think
Yo's going to discover this castle. Yo's finding the castle. Nikov tries to go for a gate wall. He goes for a stone wall. I think he's got it. He's walled in his villagers there. I think they're perfectly safe. Nice.
Dude, that was so sick. And now he might break in with the Cavalier. They'll have Blast Furnace in a minute. It's Yo's turn to quick wall, so he's getting his walls down. Nikov does have 2 Trebs firing on Yo's castle at the moment. He also has the cap killing the repair villagers. So it's unlikely that Yo will be able to keep that castle up. And like, Yo just has no map control. He doesn't have a single relic. He doesn't have a single neutral gold locked down. And just feels like he's so many steps behind in this game to be able to bring it back.
He does have the pikeman attacking the cavalier, but he's got to make sure his walls remain open, right? Where would this game have been if he was walling like this earlier on the backside of his base? Maybe we'd be in a completely different situation right now, but Nikov running away with the cavalier now on that side. Yo is going to be forced to buy stone with gold that he does not have, as he's gone for the halberdier research, but at the same time, hand cannons already making their way onto the field here for Nikov to deal with those halberdiers.
That's not the fight you want there, Nikov.
I mean, Blast Furnace is in, so I think you can potentially take a fight against the halberdiers.
Yeah, but if you have the hand cannons, maybe just be patient here. I want to see Nikov push with these hand cannons. I want to see a little fist pump, right? He lost the first 2 games. He made it all the way here.
I want to see him punch Yo in the face.
I didn't say a punch in the face, to be clear, but Yo, I mean, Dave watches a lot of hockey, right? As do I, to be fair. So, anyways, I just feel like this is a big momentum swing for the guy. I'm really happy to see Nikov showing what he's capable of. Paladin's on the way. He's getting all these upgrades right now, and he just needs to slowly mass those hand cannons. Just push up the middle there.
Yep. And he's saving his Trebs, and it's Paladin and hand
I don't
cannon.
like that.
Oh, no, that is... Dude, if you did that against Viper, you'd have 40 Cavalier trapped in there somehow.
Yeah, good engagement
That's
there.
That's a difficult one.
And I think Nikov's just slowly realizing I don't actually have to do anything fancy right now, and I just got to pull back towards my hand cannons. And no crazy fist pump.
Nope.
Yo did not get punched in the face, thankfully. But he realizes, man, this Nikov guy, he's pretty darn good. And, you know, the first 2 games weren't enough for me. I'm going to need one more. Great job from Nikov, Dave. Where did that game go wrong for you?
I mean, the early pressure, you're going to have idle TC with that, right? You get yourself into a decent position, you're going to have idle TC.
Yep.
I think the forward range was too far forward at the back there, and Nikov discovering that was a huge loss.
That was really good
for Mr. Yo. But also, if you're going forward to raid with the Knights, like I said, your primary objective is not even doing damage with those Knights. It's keeping the army from Nikov out of your base, and it got messy real quick as soon as those Camels and Knights came in.
Absolutely, yeah. Nikov's macro has been insane in every single game, right? He obviously struggled a little bit in game 1 with the map control, but his consistency with army production and then eco upgrades and expanding that economy is really good. And Golden Swamp, Kawasan, these are maps where these things will matter. But it will be the first time that Yo will get to decide the map.
That was a good recovery game from Nikov. He maybe looked a little bit shaky some moments in the first 2, and maybe that's just, you know, arriving at LAN and getting everything sorted. But this one was great. Like you said, he was getting the eco upgrades. He was keeping his TC running, which is even harder with Persians because they produce faster, so it's harder to get the food constantly to do that. But all the fundamentals were there, and now, unfortunately for Nikov, we go into 2 of Yo's home maps. So Yo is drafted towards, he's got Japanese, he's got Vikings, which we see quite a bit on Golden Swamp for the longboat play. And Vikings also, even though they're played less nowadays, probably still have like one of the best eco bonuses, if not the best eco bonus in the game. Wheelbarrow and handcart. So, I mean, strong civilizations remaining for sure.
I'm really curious where... Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess Vikings and Japanese make sense. I could see Yo going Turks and trying to drop a castle, honestly, on Golden Swamp especially, because you could go fast castle there.
Yeah, but like,
what does Nikov do? Does he go Poles at all here with these 2 remaining maps, or does he just opt to go for Mongols?
I don't know.
Which is a safer play.
I don't know. I don't know. I think Dravidians is for Kawasan. I just don't know what Golden Swamp's going to be. Is it going to be Mongols? Is it going to be Poles?
I mean, Poles would be really big brain pick. I mean, it's probably not the best pick, but if you think about the issue on that map is you need to get to the middle to get gold. We've seen Poles picked on Gold Rush and Golden Pit before because you get gold income when you're mining stone as well, right? So, like, maybe he just takes it to land with Poles there. I'm not so sure. But I think Nikov needed to use the restroom there. He's back at his desk now, and it looked like maybe a little bit of chatter between the 2 players there. Not entirely sure, but they're going to be getting started here in a second.
Now, do you think it's going to be Kawasan or Golden Swamp?
I think Yo is he has a better chance at winning Golden Swamp.
Okay.
So I would go Golden Swamp.
Okay. Also, if you go Golden Swamp, it kind of narrow. You're already suspecting Dravidians, but if he doesn't pick Dravidians on Golden Swamp, you know exactly what it's going to be on Kawasan.
That's true. Yep. And like the thing is I think Kawasan, the water matters more, which feels weird to say. I mean with the fish, right? Obviously, the water control does matter more in the long term on Golden Swamp, but you know it's the Dravidian bonuses that apply more to that start than anything that give you that food income. I think you just don't want to face up against that at all. So Nikov's going to, assuming that's the case, he's probably going to save Dravidians for Kawasan. That's just my guess. And they'll be launching here in a second. And welcome, ladies and gents, to NAC4. It's been a good start. Happy to be here. I'm actually feeling better energy-wise than I thought it would be here for the first day because, you know, we traveled. And
dude, we all went to sleep so early last night.
Yeah, bunch of old men, dude.
I got 8 hours of sleep.
David's like, that's the best sleep I've had in
months. Dude, months, yeah.
Yep.
I just got to stay up for like 30+ hours, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
Pass out.
Nikov, speaking of, he does not look like he's wide awake at the moment.
Yeah, well, it's funny because yesterday Nikov's like, I'm going to show up at 8 in the morning, start training. I'm here at 10:30, and he waltzes in.
Yeah. To be fair, I was the same. I set an alarm. I was like, I'm going to work out this morning. And then I skipped
it's
that
never
alarm.
Happening.
I skipped that alarm.
You're never working out, dude.
Yeah.
I've never seen you work out at an event.
Well, to be fair, I'm not like, hey, Dave, do you want to?
Yeah, true.
We're not gym buddies. No offense.
Yeah, true.
All right, well, here we go. Vikings, Mongols.
Mongols, okay.
And it is Golden Swamp.
And Mongols are pretty good on Golden Swamp. I mean, you can hit the timings, and we saw that with Nikov. That was his notable thing as a player, is hitting those timings. We've been talking about them. And the Rhinos do have 400 food on them. So they got more food than the Boars, and you're always going to have the Rhinos on this map. So Mongols can really capitalize on that. Also, you can push in the Ibex, which are fairly close to the TC. And you can see Nikov already going for that approach. Yo has gone for the Vikings. And I guess the question for me is whether Yo goes for a feudal water play or whether he goes fast castle and then tries to take the water back from Nikov.
Nikov is so confident in his water play. It's funny, Yo is more of like a... He's not really an all-in water player. He's more of a fire ship and scouts type guy instead of 2 or 3 docks, which is what the Vikings oftentimes have to do. So I almost feel like the players would excel with their strengths if the civs were reversed here. But if I'm Nikov, I try and abuse the fact that I'm going to have all that food, and I try and be really aggressive on land and then shift on the water later. I don't think that's what he does, but I think that could work really well here in this match.
Yo's got some unfortunate golds if he wants to go for a fast castle attempt.
Yeah, true.
We look at the positions, like the main gold right beside the water, secondary gold right beside the water, other gold little bit like kind of in Narnia out there to the left. It's hard to wall that one off. I can see Yo doing it if he commits enough. Nikov, on the other hand, still has the back gold there. The other two are a little bit difficult.
Yep.
But that back one is quite nice.
It's interesting that Nikov is going to add some fishing ships right now. So he is going to still go for that dock approach. Yo, not even docking.
No,
he's actually going for the barracks.
He's going to go for the drush approach to try and kill the fishing ships on the front side. And you can actually get them with the militia. If they're in the deep water, you can't really snag them. But when they go back to drop off the fish, you're doing damage over time. And then that makes your opponent have to micro their fishing ships. Either micro their fishing ships, engage with villagers, bring back the scout, or not make any more fishing ships. So you're kind of delaying them a ton.
Yeah, this uptime is extremely fast. Obviously, it's a 9-villager start, right?
And the great
scouting is always faster
already.
Yeah, and that's some Mongol scouting as well for you, right? You go to your front of your opponent's base, you see it, you know what's coming. I'm curious to see what Nikov's economy looks like right now. Does he have like tons on wood, and is he going to transfer to gold? Or what's the deal here? It looks like he's just going to go for a bunch of tiny little egg walls. And so he wants to keep the units out, and he's not transferring to gold, which tells me that he's not going to commit long-term on the water.
How much food does he have left on that Rhino? I wonder about that. Oh, he's actually got a lot, dude. His eco's actually not bad.
And he's got 600 food underneath the TC with the water buffaloes
and
the
the 4th fishing ship coming out.
And the fishing ships.
I mean, Yo is going to be all over these fish, but luckily for Nikov, that's actually a really good generation for where the fish are. So you can just sit in the deep waters there and wait until feudal age comes in. Once he gets like a fire galley or something, these militia are going to be toast.
Yeah, don't lose the fishing ship, ideally, because you can kind of hide them in the pockets, but it's
maybe
not
this
easy.
isn't the greatest pond. He's just not finding the room, is he?
Not big enough.
No, it's not enough water. And he's going to have to run.
But Yo has 0 fishing ships, right? So the fact that Yo has 0 fishing ships, Yo could also lose his scout now, and Nikov is going to have fire galleys. Like, I think this is completely fine for Nikov. A great opening, and guys, the reverse sweep is on the cards.
Yep. Reverse sweep is potentially there.
Block
Fishing
with the
ship
fishing
is blocking. Let's go. You're my friend, dude.
That's awesome. That's great. Nikov on point now. He's really warmed up here in NAC 4. Still don't think he has a barracks at home. It's a lot of things we need to look at right now. He's just going to focus on having a lot of those villagers on the food underneath his TC, and he went for a second dock in the middle there.
Capitalizing, dude. And if you get the docks forward, it's so good, right? Because then you can control if Yo redocks in front of his base, but Yo is being very sneaky. And Yo is coming around here with a couple of villagers and docking the other side. This is going to be tough for Nikov to figure out where it is unless Yo pulls him over there with the militia.
I want to be excited about the sneak dock, but you can't make fire galleys.
Yeah, the timing is all off here.
Yeah.
So Yo will have to go for just a couple galleys, and Yo, once again, forward dock into archer range and men-at-arms. Why'd you make the dock in the first place? Just for a demo, I guess, to kill the fish again.
Okay.
Vikings can't make fire galleys, but they can make demos, and Nikov's going to be looking at that dock and just being like, what is that?
It's, you know, and what's crazy here is Nikov has spent his wood on a second dock, but he doesn't have a barracks yet, so he goes for a tower. Oh, can't that just be attacked by the man-at-arms? Isn't that like a really bad tower?
That's a terrible tower.
I think that's all. That's just...
I'd give that tower like it gets like a D-, I think.
Okay, that's really kind of you, actually. I think that tower is going to be on fire when it completes. The demo did go out there. Didn't accomplish a ton.
Well, it got value on the fire galley and the fishing ship, I
exactly.
believe. So it's not the worst demo of all time. And then you put it in Nikov's mind that there is the potential for demos. And look at that, men-at-arms attacking the tower with the archer behind. He hops out with the villagers. And maybe that was the grand plan there from Nikov. And now he can wall around that tower.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing here is get a barracks up. But what a great job from Yo. He dropped the tower initially.
Yep.
Nikov went for the counter, so he just immediately deleted and placed a tower that denies the gold. A messy game here, Dave. Yo back at home doesn't have a lot of food eco. I would expect his TC idle time to be a problem again if he doesn't sort that out. He's got 2 farms and 3 on berries.
He does have wheelbarrow automatically.
That's true.
So you can forgive him a little bit of idle TC time if we're thinking about the direct comparison between him and Nikov. And also his farms are going to be more efficient with wheelbarrow too. Mr. Yo going for another demo. He's going to continue to try and snipe the fish. It seems as if all of Nikov's focus is on defense here, as Yo gets in now on that palisade wall, but Nikov's already walled to the TC, so not much that he can do over on that side.
This is going to sound crazy, but honestly, not having the berries hurts even more than the gold right now. Because you have gold, but like you kind of want to make a mill at some point that makes sense. So you can make farms.
And now he's forced into going skirms. Ooh, this is...
Yeah, he is going to go to the golds. And skirms will be helpful, but I genuinely feel like, you know, if Yo's able to demo more fishing ships, and he might be doing that soon.
Yo is just getting 1 fishing ship per demo value right now.
That's not great. That's not great. And
It's
he also lost
terrible.
2 archers, though.
It's not terrible, though.
Yeah.
Like
it's better than nothing.
At least you're forcing Nikov to not keep making fish.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want Nikov to go up to like 12 fishing ships, and yeah, I agree with you there. And Nikov's tower will be shot down ever so slowly there, and there it is. So again, Yo's tower placement was great. Yo started adding the farms, but resources collected, 4,300 resources collected. You can see that at the bottom right of your screen, that's for Nikov, and Yo is still a couple hundred resources behind here.
Did the demo, I think the demo went 1 for 1 against every single time I see a demo up there, I see that Eco KD go up by 1.
Yep, and the fishing ship count goes down by 1, so.
1 at a time, Mr. Yo taking out the fishing ships from Nikov. Now Mr. Yo going for a forward mining camp there to take that stone. His idle TC time is only at 1 minute right now, so it's only ticked up by about 20 seconds. Since the last time we checked into it, as Nikov now goes for a market.
Nikov's food income is the 3 fishing ships. That's it. Like, it just got really bad for him, and he's dropping a market so he could maybe balance out his eco a little bit, but...
I mean, demos for Mr. Yo, he's still producing them 1 at a time, and he did take out a fire galley there. He can take out this fire galley, maybe the skirmish. Nikov, you have seen constant demo production. You cannot be out here, my dude.
Not next to the fire ship.
You cannot be out here. That demo's coming out quick.
Yo's like,
3,
oh, this
2,
is perfect.
1, boom! boom! Oh my god, I got the timing on that perfect.
Yeah,
Holy.
and so did Yo, and Nikov's got to be like, are you kidding me? What am I thinking? What
Why
was
am I
doing
there? Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. And Nikov's still going to be in a good spot to maybe get to Castle H. He's got a fire so he can clear up the archers and men-at-arms. That hurts, but that doesn't break him here. He still had the better of the game so far. Now 500 more resources collected, which is, again, crazy considering the only food income he has is fishing ships. But Dave, I really do think you need farms at some point, right? So, like, I think maybe a mill, and then like 3 or 4 farms would be really helpful.
Like, Nikov still, he's like, oh, I can almost click up the castle. Yeah, until you look at that 3 underneath your food count. He's still buying! He's still buying! He can't sell the food, but he can buy it perfectly fine, apparently.
You know, Nikov's not going to like this joke, but he can't hear me right now. And he once told me that his favorite player is Huang. Look at this. He's selling the stone as Mongols. He's selling the wood. He's like using the market nonstop.
It's like for what? What are you going up to Castle Age? Why are you prioritizing it? What are you going to make immediately if you don't have anything on food?
Well, I mean, I guess that gives him time to sort that out. A knight could be really valuable in Yo's economy. It's just the balance is not great.
It's so brutal, and we see why Vikings, they were popular in the past. They've been less popular now, but that economy from Yo is rolling right now. Even without the first wood upgrade, just with the wheelbarrow, the total resources collected are going to start shifting in favor of Yo. It's in favor of Nikov currently. I think the market's kind of playing games
mining,
with our
mining a lot
with our total value there, as Nikov now engages with all of the villagers and 2 skirmishers over here. So he's going to deny this.
Make a trap here, Nikov. Make a trap. Like, make a house so those villagers can't escape. Oof. Still very good from Nikov, though, to deny that tower.
Yeah, and Yo's up. And Yo's up with a much better economy than Nikov. Nikov's still only 2 on food currently. That's 1 fishing ship.
I think Yo, he's got galleys out there, by the way. He's killed fishing ships again. He's killed 2 fishing ships.
Yep.
I was just going to say, I think Yo could easily try and get more docks up and go longboats in Castle.
He's going to let this tower go down, though. He can run away with those villagers because he does have wheelbarrow. Maybe Nikov snipes one with the skirm. We don't know. And, yeah, that guy's going to get away.
Yeah.
And demo.
That dock, you just...
Nice wall from Nikov. Now he's putting him in a position like, do you value this villager or do you value that range? And apparently Yo chooses the building over the life.
Yep. Yeah, this has been a messy game, right? And, like, Game 3 was also very messy. And Nikov was able to come out on top.
Nikov's trapped these now. That's at least 1 galley going down here.
It should be 1. Yeah. The other one probably won't contribute too much.
And it is indeed step lancers. The thing about step lancers, though, they are heavier on food, as Yo looks like he got another scout with that demolition raft. They are heavier on food, and Nikov still only has 6 on food.
But look at the blocking. Yeah, I mean, he's dropping a TC on the berries right now. Does he have a mill yet? I don't think he's... Oh, no, he does. Okay, there we go. Finally getting some farms. That's good.
Well, he had a market. We knew he had a market.
Oh, true.
Process of elimination.
I always forget that, though.
Yep.
And actually, this is really good for Nikov because he's probably wondering what Yo's going to do now, and he can see the double dock here. So that just tells Nikov he needs more ships.
Look at the resources when Yo hits Castle Age. If we compare that to the resources Nikov had in the bank when he hit Castle Age, it is ridiculous. And Yo goes for a monastery. And he goes for Bodcanero. He's going to go into the longboats. Once you take control of water here, especially with those forward golds from Nikov and all the stuff he has set up around the shoreline, could be a massive issue.
That was a nice demo. Man, Yo loves his demos here. And Nikov can't afford War Galley. Typically, you're getting that. It's about 200 food, 100 gold.
No. And that 18 on food is super deceptive, I feel, because I feel like a lot of those are on the berries.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. He's got like maybe 8 farmers at this point.
Yeah.
But I think the longboats are going to be able to micro down the ships from Nikov. I mean, he's got a lot there. Yo's going to have to work hard for this. But longboats with Bodcanero are very strong, and there goes Yo with 2 of them.
Ooh, get through the fire and the flames.
He's made it away. Tree kind of helps there a little bit. But Nikov is growing in his villager lead, Dave. He's at 47. It's just 41 for Yo.
Handcart is in.
And
for a Yo, though.
Nikov hasn't been relying on fishing ships for this economy. As he drops TC number 3.
No, he's been relying on his market for this economy. We see him buying some more stone there.
Yeah, I mean, no siege push from Nikov, so it's probably just going to be a boom game, Dave. And let's see what Yo's economy looks like. It's still 1 TC for him. And he is losing his dock.
Yeah, does have a lot of food, does have a lot of gold. Unfortunately for him, food isn't really what he needs for the units that he's producing. That can be a difficulty with Vikings, right? You add all those farms to go up to Castle Age, and once you get there, you're like, I don't want to make knights.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would rather not.
And you know, the tricky thing is, too, is
these are so weak.
This is maybe one of the worst matchups as we see Nikov get some great kills.
Great from Nikov. Fantastic positioning there. And Yo is struggling to build up the longboats. When he does get them, and he's got 3 now, so he should be okay. He will be fine, and he will have water control, but Nikov is doing a good job delaying him so far.
Yeah, and it's like, in Nikov's mind, though, there's so much gold at your own base.
Demo?
If you're on 3 TCs, and you haven't allowed your opponent with longboats to take control yet, you're in a good spot, right?
Trying to convert the fire. He doesn't want to attack it. He wants it for himself. And there's the demo right there. It's going out for the step. Lance going for the fires.
It's going for something.
It can't decide.
Well, it will still live for another day, but Dave, 64 eco versus 47. Yo needs to pick it up here. It's one of the worst matchups in late game. Vikings have no answer to Mongols if this goes late.
Well, Vikings can hit the transition a little bit better than Mongols. Like
An
Mongols,
early imp.
Yeah, Mongols will struggle to get all their techs in, especially if you don't have water control. And remember, not having water control on this map means that you don't have gold control either. And that's something the Mongols will need.
Yeah, you've got 3 piles of gold and 2 piles of stone at your base. So it's enough, but the middle is so important here, which is why Nikov's still making ships. I actually think it's a good move from him. If anyone's questioning why no War Galley, I think it's better to go for Villese. Right? You're not seeing that much Navy from Yo just yet. You still have your docks, right? Yo is simply just picking off fishing ships. He's not actually taking out your docks either.
Yo is going for the relics already. He can also use those monks against the fire galleys. And Yo will finally go for the 3rd town center here. Total resources collected, still ahead for Nikov. I think a big part of that was the gold collected from the market, however, so it's actually a little bit more even than that. Eco upgrades right now looking in favor of Mr. Yo because he did get handcar automatically upon reaching Castle Age.
I think now is when you're like, maybe I should get War Galley, because now you're starting to lose your
Yo
docks.
can almost go up to Imp here. Like, Viking Eco is kind of nuts when it gets rolling.
Yeah, and I think if you do go up to Imp, you really hope that you can get a castle in the middle.
Yep.
And that Nikov has a castle close by that you
need like 6 or 7 on stone right now if you're Mr. Yo.
Yep. It just, the timing's just not, it's just so weird because he has resources, but like he's behind on some upgrades, so you're like, okay, might as well get those. Then you're thinking, well, what units do I really make? I don't have much. Okay, might as well just wait. And so time's going to pass here, and then Nikov's going to rise in resources because Nikov has 33 on food versus the 14 from Yo. So it's like, it's still really good position for Nikov to tie up this series.
And Yo is not making more longboats because he hasn't seen the further investment from Nikov, but Nikov is investing behind. He's gone for War Galley now. And he is in a position, maybe he can push Yo off of that middle water control before Yo gets up that forward castle. Now, Yo has killed the forward dock. He's coming forward with the longboats now, but Nikov suddenly has 3 fire ships, not fire galleys, with 2 more in the queue. So there's potential for Nikov to retake water here.
I think you need to wait before showing him your ships here. You do not want him to know
he's
that
hiding them on the right side.
Producing,
in the corner. There you go.
Because if you show him, there's not a lot stopping Yo from just dropping 3 or 4 more docks.
And Yo feels very comfortable. He's adding 4 more fish.
Oh, wow. Look at that monk. That monk says, screw you, fire. And that's gonna be relic number 2 for Nikov. So thinking about relics, even though the long term is still the middle gold.
Yo is up to Imperial Age, but Nikov is not far behind at all. Nikov's about to click up too.
Nikov needs to engage against those ships and these docks now, right? He also picked off a monk there next to the dock. Very well played from Nikov. But this is the time for you if you're Nikov, because longboats and Imp can still be the play for Yo. That seems like it's the only plan for Yo right now.
And Yo sees, I don't think Yo had seen that War Galley was in. I think this is the first time he's seeing a fire ship. So as soon as he saw that, he started adding extra longboats.
And there goes villagers to the middle for Nikov.
Oh, does Yo see that? He sees it now. He sees it now.
You know, honestly, Yo won't hate this. I think your first castle being in the middle as Mongols is a little risky, because Yo will probably try and make a trebuchet and treb that down.
Yo doesn't quite have the stone he needs for a castle, though, so it's going to be difficult for him to get the castle up and then have Trebs immediately
that's true.
upon reaching Imp, so he's not going to quite hit that timing. He did see a few villagers going towards the middle, but he hasn't confirmed that it's a castle yet, and he still doesn't see that castle. There we go. He does see it in the center, and now Mr. Yo will have to make his first castle either on the marshy terrain or on his own base.
Remember, Yo didn't research War Galley. So if he does make demos, they would just be demo rafts, and that's actually a big thing.
And there we go.
And there's the castle.
He's actually going to hit the timing. He'll hit the timing perfectly. As soon as that castle is up, he'll be an Imperial Age ability to make Trebs.
Yeah. Nikov, obviously you can understand the need to get castles up, the need to secure the gold in the middle, but is he going to have the Navy? He is trying to take out that dock at the moment.
He's not going to get it before careening comes in, but careening doesn't really help.
He's going to get trapped
that
here.
Much for the longboats.
He has to choose between longboats or castle, and I think you choose longboats. Oh man, those longboats are really strong. There's a lot of them there. Nikov will have fires on the right side, though.
Nikov should make some demos of his own against longboats. They're actually low-key good. Oh man!
Nikov also going to be an imp shortly. He's dropping his second castle right now, so good work from him. As we have Ballistics just now completing for Yo, and also Bracer on the way, making this more difficult for Nikov, who has to win this game to win this series. Yo started off so strong here with the first 2 wins, but Nikov's just been getting stronger, and he's got the population lead right now.
Yep. Nikov is just kind of throwing away Navy. He knows he can't win the fight. He's just hoping to keep Yo pushed back until that castle goes up. There it is. He will hold on to water control until he gets to Imperial Age, and he's going to go fast fire here. I think there's a big argument to be made for Yo going for War Galley upgrade to get the demos.
Yeah, it's really tricky because he doesn't have a lot of res. Like, he's at the limit, 30 vills behind. He's tied with the amount of relics, but he doesn't have any gold control.
Yep.
And you can very much compare this situation to, like, Knights and Archers on land. And if you're talking Knights and Archers on land, the Knights can dive to take Trebs, right? So, like, those longboats do not have a chance to take those Trebs. If Nikov gets enough fast fires, he can go underneath Castle Fire to take out those trebuchets there.
Yep. Now, where does Yo's second castle go? Do you put it, like, there's not much area to the right of that castle. Do you put it on the left side?
Honestly, I think
or do you just use the stone to repair the castle?
I think he might just have to repair. Like, it's that bad, but then again, you're up against 2 castles, so you might not want to do that. I'm surprised. Nikov made 5 fast fires and stopped, and now he's trying to go for Galleon. I feel like just full fast fires is the way to go here.
I think there's an argument for Mr. Yo to make stone walls around those Trebs, too.
Yeah.
Like a little gated community there. Yeah, it is awkward because of the deep water, but I think behind the castle you can stretch some stone walls.
Maybe.
And we've seen it before because once you have fast fire, there is a possibility of them just going right under your castle. They don't care.
Can we see how many docks Nikov has right now? I think he's got 2. I think he's producing out of 2 docks.
Oh, gee. With Galleon? Oh, man, he needs more than that.
He needs way more than that, but he's just so focused.
Yep.
Now, he is going to win the Treb War, at least initially.
No, Yo's sending more villagers forward.
Oh, boy.
He's going to have a lot of villagers repairing that. It's not enough, though, and it looks like both players will lose a castle, and those Trebs from Yo will now go over to the castle from Nikov. Yo puts that castle further back, and if the Trebs want to come forward for that, they're going to have to be within range of the longboats.
Yep. This is where if you went full fast fire,
dude, Galleon is
docks,
not the plate. Yeah, Galleon is not it.
It's the pressure, Dave. Like, this is what lands bring out.
13 Galleons from 3 docks.
There's so much pressure. He is adding more docks, though, right? So he's clearly upped his production. Nikov now has a little surrounds coming in here. He will have...
What is that fire galley, or what is that fire ship doing? Oh my god, it slides into the DMs of those longboats there. And right past them, we don't know what was happening there. What a flank.
The Elite Longboat is on the way, and the Elite Longboat it just feels so much stronger to me than Galleon, but I'm not sure if Yo can do it if he runs out of gold here. As I say that, though, he's got 1,000 gold.
Yeah, Yo's eco has gotten kind of insane here, and the longboats now pushing back the Galleons, and the Trebs are surviving for the time being. Yo is repairing with all his might. Nikov is trying to take that down. Yo needs to continue repairing that trebuchet. There's only 2 attacking that castle. Which will go down first, the Trebs or the castle? The second Treb is going to die here, and that means it's going to be easier for Nikov to repair, but the Galleons are still kind of struggling against the longboats.
Look at Nikov's queue. He's got 19 ships in queue. If those ships could actually be produced, if he has the time, he will win this game, and we will see a Game 5.
Yep.
He's going for shipwright, which actually makes that whole process of getting docks up and making ships a bit cheaper.
Ooh, Yo is struggling with his dock positions too. Like some of his longboats are going right through this navy from Nikov. Look at the navy numbers though. It's 11 longboats. It's 14 galleons from Nikov. Nikov has a long way to go with the galleons though before they can reinforce, and Yo is right by his reinforcement docks as the Treb is still working away on the castle. Yo is now selling food for gold.
Yeah, Yo's running so low, and he doesn't have a backup plan here. Neither player does, really. Nikov has 27 galleons in queue. But Dave...
He's added the docks,
I
though.
think he's added
the docks. Yeah, he's doing it.
He's adding the docks.
He's doing it. Nikov is getting it all sorted here, and he's managed to keep that castle alive on the middle. Yo will not have access to that gold, and Yo's castle will be under fire now from the trebuchets from Nikov, and all of the longboats coming out are under fire from the galleons.
Yeah, and what a comeback here from Nikov. Yo's not ready to quit, though. He sees the trebs. He's going to get one of them. But, Dave, I just don't see how Yo can compete on water anymore. There's just going to be too much navy.
He needs docks on the right side now. He needs to make docks on the right side. Right now, his reinforcements, like every single new longboat that comes out, gets the same treatment as this guy. He just gets blasted by the galleons. So things are looking dire for Mr. Yo, and now he's getting the war galley research. Maybe he's going to switch in a galleon of his own, but it just feels like it's too late.
Look at Nikov's eco balance. 70 on wood, 50 on gold, 4 on...
He knows the objective. He knows what he needs to do, bro.
He's like,
he knows what he needs to do.
I will only make trebs and ships in this game. That's all I will need, and that's a doubt castle.
Yep.
That castle's not going up there for Yo. Holy crap, what a series we have in our hands here, Dave.
Yeah, Nikov is making the reverse sweep a possibility here. As Galleon now comes in for Mr. Yo, he's denied off that castle. He's still attacking the castle from Nikov with 1 treb, but it's not quite enough. I mean, Yo does have 1,100 gold in the bank, so he's not giving up.
Yep. And, I mean, he hasn't lost eco. That's the weird feeling about this map.
But he's behind by 70 population now. 80
yeah.
population.
Yeah, and he doesn't necessarily know that, right? Like, it also is similar to when players are over booming. Right now, you're behind. You know you really want to win. You're not looking at the pop. You know, you're just like trying your best to produce.
Yep.
Galleon's an interesting decision here, Dave, but I feel like if you've gotten to this point and you've lost so much control that like it has to be a longboat if you had any chance.
The toughest thing here for Yo is like you look at switching it up in this position, right? If you feel like you're going to lose water, maybe there's a chance I can come back on land.
Yeah.
Vikings don't have that.
Yeah.
Vikings can't switch it up.
Yeah.
Like you're playing them here for the water control, and you had the water control. Now you've officially lost the water control, and you don't have control over the golds in the center. So your gold piles in your base are only going to last for so long. You can't do damage on land really because you don't have a Hussar or anything like that from Vikings. And it's impossible now.
He might actually take out Nikov's castle, which is kind of interesting. Nikov ran out of stone to repair it and isn't buying any. But okay.
Just calls GG. And
just
Nikov, 2 wins in a row. That's big.
That's huge,
We got ourselves a series.
Yeah. And, you know, it will make everything else so interesting as well with the way this system works. I'm not the one to explain it because I don't even know how to say the word. But in this group stage format, obviously, like both players have put a strong showing here, which will influence how certain players are judged later on in the line. But right now, you want to win, right?
Would that be Buchholz? Buchholz?
Buchholz? I can't do it. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was thinking. But
donation goal, by the way. If we hit 60K, T90 has to do a full explanation on Buchholz.
No, that's not true. I signed nothing.
I think that's a pretty good goal. Any 60Kers in chat?
I didn't sign anything. I will not promise that.
Well, I'll do it for the team.
There you
All
go.
right, so we've got 1 map remaining, Kawasan. We're going to Game 5, and we have Japanese, we have Turks for Mr. Yo. It's likely Japanese, likely we say that. And then it's almost certainly Dravidians here from Nikov.
Yeah, I agree with that. Japanese and Dravidians are actually 2 very similar civilizations. When the Dravidians were introduced, there was a lot of hype around some other civilizations and not so much the Dravidians. And I was trying to hammer down in people's heads, like, both these civilizations are good in early feudal with infantry, archer switch, and water control. 2 of the very best. The interesting thing about Kawasan, before we hop into it, is you don't just have 1 body of water, you have 2. And scouting where your opponent has docked is oftentimes very important. And I think scouting has been a separator at times in this series. But again, getting the win here is so important. we will have, is it 4 days or 5 days of group stage? I believe 5 days of group stage. Yes?
We will have we
5?
will indeed have days of group stage. I can confirm that we will have days of group stage.
I believe it's 5 days of groups and then 3 days of the playoffs. But anyways, whether it's 4 or 5, my apologies, people. This is going to be very important because the competition does not get easier for either player. It only maybe gets more difficult or is just as difficult. So you've got to get the win here. Game number 5, Nicov Dravidians, and Yo is the Japanese. Let's see if anyone goes for a fancy little dock placement here.
And if you guys didn't watch the qualifiers or didn't have the ability to tune in or whatever, you were busy or something, this map, Kawasan for NAC, is a little bit different from the one we would see on Red Bull. The relic placements are no longer in the middle, and that's been done on purpose. They're now around the pond. So if you control that center area, you're not going to have the relics automatically.
Yeah, there's just one.
Yeah,
one in
so
the
you're
middle.
going to have to control the water on the outside to potentially keep tabs on those relics. As we see Nikov going forward with the villager very quickly, and that dock is going to count as 5 population space. So he doesn't need to build the house with that villager, and he's going to instantly wall in his build. That's very smart.
Yep.
Have to do that in tournaments.
Yeah, this one's actually more of an
Yo
awkward wall for
disagrees,
Yo.
apparently.
Well, but where he's placing his dock makes it so he has to make 3 or 4 palisades there. But again, scouting's important here. Nikov has already scouted the far side of the pond that he's docked to see if there's a dock there. Didn't see anything.
Okay. Yo is looking around on that side, and sometimes players are very sneaky with their dock locations. Like, they won't dock on their side. They'll walk all the way to the other side of the pond and dock, so it's harder for their opponent to scout. But at this point, these guys have played this map so often that they will just scout an entire ring to figure out if there's a dock there.
Yep, and there goes Nikov, and it's going to be
Find
pretty
the
easy for
villager,
Nikov to find that.
and Yo is going to have to wall this in. He does.
Yep, and we'll see fishing ships on both sides. So
Nice.
I feel like the natural play here is for both players to try and kill the other's fish. And if you're expecting that, what do you think about simply making a second dock on your own pond at the start of feudal? Because you'll
Second
2v1.
dock on your own pond. I like it. What are the birds doing?
They're collecting to witness this Game 5. They've heard how good this series has been, and they've flown in from all
They're
the other
congregating.
territories. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll come back to the birds. We'll keep you updated on the birds.
We won't miss them. It's right next to the gold there from Yo. But I think Nikov, he's going to be clicking up here shortly. Dravidians get plus 200 wood when they arrive to the next stage. They obviously don't need to make as many houses because their dock does count as a house. And then the Japanese have had the cheaper mining camps, mills, lumber camps. So at the end of the day, again, you got wood savings and you have good potential to play for water. So we'll see if it's like one dock on each side because both players want to contest the other's fish, or if one player, like I could see Yo, particularly as the Japanese, just deciding to go for 2 docks at home.
Yep. And that 200, dude, that 200 extra wood is just huge, right? Like, it just gives you so many options as the Dravidians when you get up. I think it kind of, it makes you a little bit over-ambitious at times as well. Like, I could go for 3 docks here. I could go for 4 docks. No, no, you can't.
Yeah.
Like, you can make the dock. Whether you can produce out of it is a different question.
Yeah, and it's going to get interesting here, too. There is a dock for Nikov on the other side, but is Yo's scout over there at all? Doesn't look like it.
Where is Yo Scout?
It was close.
Oh, it's in the middle.
He's just now found Nikov. Now, I'd like to see Yo's pond. Is he doing anything there? Look.
He's making a second dock, I believe. No, not Yo. Nikov, maybe.
Huh, so
No,
you know
he's
what?
just finishing the wall.
Nikov is scouting with the fishing ship, and he's like, what? There's nothing? So this should mean a barracks for Yo, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep,
Yeah.
there it is. And Nikov is not going to... Oh, he will see that
That's
before
awesome.
hitting...
That's amazing. He's locked in right now, dude.
Yeah.
He checked every single thing. He knows exactly where his opponent's fishing ships are. He knows he's not going to be contested on water right away.
Now he's walling up immediately.
Yeah.
And if he didn't have the wood right now for the wall and the ships, he's going to have it in a second as he gets the feudal age. His scout comes back through the bird NATO right towards the front of Yo's base, and he's going to be tracking what Yo is doing, and he sees the militia already coming out from Yo. That's a super random militia, though, because it doesn't have a follow-up.
Yeah.
It's just one militia.
Yeah, but that will make Nikov believe it's going to be 3 men at arms. And Nikov's got a lot of work to do right now because he's got to defend his own fishing ships. He also has to kill Yo's fishing ships. But I think the odds are looking good that Nikov's going to kill Yo's fishing ships, even though they're
Did
Japanese.
Nikov see the dock from Yo in the south?
He did. He did see that with his fishing ship a moment ago.
Oh, boy.
So he's going 2 docks in the north, 2 docks in the south. It's a total of 2 docks for Yo as the approach. And Nikov's like, I've got a wall, and I've got a wall fast because things are coming to my base right now.
Now, of course, Yo's fishing ships do have more HP as Japanese, and you can see him immediately pulling a fishing ship over there, but he's not going to win 1 dock versus 2. I don't care how much HP your fishing ships have, and now he's going to be 1 dock versus 2 on the south, too.
Look at Nikov's walling. He probably has like 8 vills there. I'm just waiting. Oh. He's got so many vills walling, 2 vills idle underneath the TC, dude. He's panicked right now. But he is going to get the walls down.
If you're going to go for the walls, you might as well commit, right? You might as well commit. It's an early loss on the eco, but it will pay off in the end if the units from Yo don't get in. However, it's only 1 militia from Yo, so...
Yeah. It's kind of funny. It's like that really worked out here for Yo. Yo's fishing ships are still alive. Yo now has 2 docks to contest Nikov's fishing ships, and Nikov's fishing ships, they're not armored. So those fishing ships could die, and something I really like here for the Japanese is you have the cheap mills still. So you can go out and take deer. You could still, like, you know, maybe take berries a bit easier. So that's something to pay attention to if Nikov doesn't kill the fish.
And Yo is using those fish well, and Nikov won't even engage near the dock. He knows the fish are there. They can block the fire damage. He's going to go tail with that 1 militia over by his dock on the left side, and he's going to keep contesting in the south. Yo is going to be able to take out 1 fishing ship, maybe? No.
First kill of the game right there. 1-1 now. It looks like there was maybe a death in the north at the same time. But there's been a lot of action in this game. This is extremely difficult to play. There's so many different things that could happen here. And look how close the HP is on these ships. My goodness.
Yo has 2 villagers over here to repair, though.
Yeah. And there's actually the
you know
dock
what?
villager is not there anymore.
Yo has done a fantastic job, and he might find a big demo here as he tries to bait in the demo from Nikov. No, he just goes 1 for 1 on that side, and he pushes out with the fire galleys. We were talking about how he's going to be 1 dock against 2 on both lakes. He's 2 docks against 2 in the south, and now he's canceling out all of the fire galleys from Nikov here. 1 dock against 2 in the north, so it's a great defense from Mr. Yo.
And, like, Yo is on berries already. Yo is transitioning his economy towards the later stages of this game. So if this continues, advantage Yo. And Nikov still looking for damage, still looking for defense there in the south as Yo pops out with another demo. And even though the demo isn't the best of connections, Yo still has more ships.
Yeah, and this is the point of the game where Dravidians kind of start to fall off maybe a little bit against Japanese, right? Good demo there from Nikov, but Yo still has advantage there, and Yo is winning the water in the south. How is this happening? Is this all because of the 1 militia forcing down those walls from Nikov?
Yep, it's panic, and then also just how patient Yo was. And I love his economy as well. He's had the proper amount on berries, just he's no worries moving out to take resources. Meanwhile, like Nikov, he's like towering.
Yeah,
he thinks he doesn't know,
bro.
So he assumes there's going to be something more. He's towering his berries right now.
That militia did more mental damage to Nikov in this game than anything else.
It's so crazy. Like when you see your opponent has had that barracks, you always feel like they could always have that range at any time.
Yep.
And it just does things to you when you don't have a scout. And again, it's game 5, right? So we could alternatively be saying if Yo actually had the range.
Look at
why
this
didn't
clear up.
Nikov add a tower? Why didn't Nikov do this?
Like, how on earth is Yo winning the water on both sides? And then you look at his economy right now and look at the resources in the bank.
It's so good. Yep.
It's so clean from him.
Yeah. So Nikov has some catching up to do there. The positive is that he still has his docks up and he still has opportunities. But I think at this point, like, even if you kill the fishing ships in the north, you're at risk of losing 2 pawns to Japanese, which is just horrible for you. So you do have to make sure that you're still contesting.
Oh,
a demo there could be amazing. Yo's demo is trapped.
Yeah.
I guess there's no demo in there for Nikov.
Well, there's 2 fire galleys in that one, 2 fire galleys in this one. So Yo is at risk of losing that top water. He's going to have to get a good demo shot in there. Nikov's still hanging around in his docks. He's got a repair villager down there now, too. Yo's got a couple fire galleys in reserve, so no risk there. But he hasn't added fishing ships over on that side, so nothing to really protect.
I know the previous game, the demos weren't that impressive for Yo, but the demo timing and the patience on them has been really good here.
He's going to lose the water in the north, so good job from Nikov to save up his fleet.
Is there a demo coming?
No, I don't think there is. There's
no
no demo in the queue for Mr. Yo, just fire galleys.
Okay.
And he's chosen to go heavy on water on the side where his fish aren't.
Yeah. But he got enough, right? The point is he got enough, and what he did on land is still so important for him.
Nikov clicked double BitX 1 minute earlier than the average on
Okay, all right. Stat guy did Nikov dirty here.
He's
okay?
done the math.
Stat guy did Nikov dirty. But anyways, we see a stable now for Yo, and he's got a scout, and if this was the old generation of Kawassan, Yo would probably snowball this to victory so fast because he'd have the 5 relics in the middle, siege and everything. Now it's a little bit more difficult, and you have to work a little bit harder to snowball it to victory, taking that center control.
You will have access to all those berries, though, and as Japanese, you can add the mills quite cheaply. Good demo there from Mr. Yo. High value demo, doesn't kill units immediately. As he sends in another one, he gets another decent value demo, and he's trying to work away on these weak fires before he puts his attention on the full HP ones, and Yo will be able to basically neutralize Nikov's fleet in the south here. No player has fishing ships, though. Oh, Nikov's adding some more in the north. Okay.
Yep. It just feels like Yo was going to be very happy with this position. Yo is not a big water player anyways, right? So to have these resources, to be able to drop the 2nd and 3rd town center and monastery, whatever else he wants to in Castle Age so early is going to be so good for him. And Dave, like, we talked about the resilience of Nikov to come back when he had lost the first 2 games, tie it up. The resilience from Yo here to go in and like solve any problems he might have found with his play in the 4th game, turn it around here. He's looked so good.
Yep, and I think Nikov's going to be kicking himself for the amount of walling that he did against that one militia.
Yep.
And he just fell so far behind on the water and also didn't have the wood to get his economy under control.
Yep.
He was kind of panicking. We pointed it out earlier. And now his opponent's in the Castle Age. He has to get up. And Yo is already going for a forward siege workshop. He's still contesting the water. Like, things are looking super good for Mr. Yo.
Yep, and I like the War Galley choice as well. That way you can still contest on water, maybe even win these ponds. He does lose the northern area. But he does have villagers there, so it almost makes me feel like he wants to try another dock here. And that's exactly what he's going to do.
Just outside of the line of sight.
Like, the amount of times that there's this 1 or 2 tile thing with Yo is just insane.
He's sneaky.
It's not luck at this point. He's just insane.
Yep.
Anyways, remember, Dravidians don't get knights, so I'm not really sure what you'd counterattack with. Yo's going to see that tower and be like, oh, okay, interesting tower there, Nikov. We could easily see the 2nd town center at some point here for Yo. We could see monks coming out to maybe gather those relics. And we could see some massive fights back here on water from Yo. That dock is going to do wonders for him. Because Nikov's just not expecting it. Nikov's going to have to focus his attention to lands now.
Yeah, it's just going to be pikemen, bro. It's like, Dravidians just don't have it.
Yeah.
You know? They get the extra wood. If you're still fighting on...
Well, they do have pikemen, to be clear.
Yeah, but the pikemen are not it.
Yeah. It is cheaper, which I think is a big positive here. But Nikov doesn't have...
And look at that. Nikov didn't know about the dock. Fire ships kill fishing ships way faster than fire galleys. And Yo's just going to sneak over there. And he's going to be like, bonjour, as he takes out all of the fishing ships from Nikov. This is not a good situation for the Argentinian. He did so much work to bring himself back here. Winning a game on one of Yo's home maps with Mongols against Vikings. Vikings are usually favored on Golden Swamp. Excellent pushback from Nikov. But he's just not got himself into a position where he's feeling very comfortable here with the Dravidians. It's just feeling very awkward.
Yeah, it's like everything has to go well for you with the Dravidians because they just don't have a lot of things that can really change a game if you fall behind. But, you know, cheaper pikeman's going to be in. You know, for now, Yo's just going to be happy with the control that he's got for himself. He's on the 2nd town center now. We might even see the 3rd. But you know what I want to see? I want to see this game go later somehow. And I want to see Samurai in response to the pikemen, and then I want to see your Roomies in response to the Samurai.
No, Samurai rip Roomy Swordsman.
The little splash trample damage doesn't make a difference?
No.
No?
No. If the Samurai, listen, if the Samurai clump up into one tile and they can all get the splash damage on them, sure. That's fantastic.
I'm not saying I disagree with you because I know Samurai have a bonus against unique units, but how many times have you seen fully upgraded Samurai versus fully upgraded?
There's actually a YouTube channel that does shorts on 50 versus 50, and I kind of watch it when I wake up in the morning. It's in the suggested. Also, I have played many CBA games.
Okay,
so.
all right. You still don't give me a number, but that's better. That's more than I've seen, you know. But I still want to see it.
There was like 15 Samurai left over.
15 Samurai left over. Yeah. Were they patrolled, or was it just were they just
it was
standing
like
there?
they just kind of engaged in a line.
Okay, gotcha. Because that happens, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 50 villagers right now for Nikov. It is at 50 villagers for Yo. Nikov does have a second town center. Yo isn't really pushing here. Yo seems happy to just back away, sit on the hill, collect relic number 1, drop the TC on the berries, which is kind of cool, but I'm a little surprised that Yo didn't do more with his position here.
Yeah, I mean, he invested into the town center, into War Galley, right? So it's a lot of resources you got to put in, and he put wood into the siege workshop there.
Yeah. And
he hasn't really found much value, but he does still have the map control, and it's only pikemen and mangonel from Nikov pushing back. So it's not like an existential threat to Yo's existence, right?
That was a really good attack round there. That knight is weak, I believe. And pikeman now, oh, pikeman gets away, and so does the monk. Monk hops into that TC. So Nikov trying to just move out here to see exactly what Yo is up to. Yo also has a random mango there, which I assume Nikov has noticed. But Yo's definitely building up towards a castle. He might end up deciding that guard tower is his best play if he's worried about this, though, because he doesn't have enough stone for the castle right now.
Another monastery, bro. And it's just a redemption play?
I guess so. And
it was a good shot from Yo, though, and he might get another one here. He's got the hill advantage. Nikov, though, really good with the mangonels, and Nikov manages to get value there.
He needed that one.
He definitely needed that.
That would have been really bad for him if he would have lost that one. He did also lose the pikeman there at the same time to the Knight, Scout, and Mango. 57 villagers versus 59. Yo obviously has 3 fishing ships as well. Yo also has the berries, which is helpful, especially because you can place those cheap mills everywhere. And now Yo's getting redemption, so he can convert any siege, which will probably put an end to whatever push Nikov has in the middle. Doesn't put an end to the game, though, as Nikov expands.
I mean, I don't even think he needs redemption here, dude. Like, the monks don't add value against anything else. And look at that. Yo is going to be able to take out 2 mangonels, and Nikov's like, that's enough. I don't have anything in addition to these pikemen to help me beat Mr. Yo, and Mr. Yo is going to win that final game. Nikov gave him a run, though.
Yeah,
Nikov taking it to the 5th game.
Looks like they're chatting here. Nikov's probably like, great series. This one bit wrong for me. Well played. Obviously, disappointment on Nikov's part to come back to the 5th game and then lose has got to hurt. But, I mean, imagine how Yo would have felt if he would have let this series slip. So a little bit of a smile on his face. Obviously, he's going to be a lot happier. We will talk to, I believe, Yo here in a moment, and obviously we'll see a lot more from Nikov this week.
Yeah, I mean, Nikov showed us that even with a shaky start, I think he threw a couple scouts away on Arabia, right? He never really got out of his base.
Yeah.
It's just a rough start, and then losing his home map arena. Even with that, he can make a comeback against a player like Mr. Yo. Like, he deserves to be here. He made it through 2 qualifiers.
Yeah.
And he took it to 5 games, so it's fantastic. We're going to get Yo in. I think I'm going to go do an interview with Mr. Yo, and you will stay on for the next series, I believe.
No.
Maybe? No, never mind. Nili's saying, nope, not happening. Maybe check Wikipedia, Dave, next time. And I'm going to head over. I'm going to see what Mr. Yo has to say about that amazing win. Mr. Yo.
Hello.
That was a good start.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you were you nervous about playing here? Like, were you feeling comfortable coming into that set? Is it always difficult, like with the LAN environment, to get everything sorted, or?
Last time it kind of did but this time I feel much more comfortable, and I think it's because we are playing in a smaller room and there's no one else there. I can't hear anything, so it's much better.
So your matchup, I looked it up last night against Nikov. I think you were like 6-1 in tournament set. Or no, he was 6-1 against you.
Okay.
In tournament sets
that's
against
what
Nikov.
I said.
Was that in the back of your head going into this, or were you not concerned at all?
No. I don't worry about that when the game started, and I don't know, his style might counter mine. That's why he got this scary win rate. But I always thought I could do better.
So game 1, Arabia, I think you got a really good engagement against the scouts. And then you had the forward pressure. What was your idea heading into Castle Age? Like, you didn't go for an eagle all in. You kind of added economy behind. What was the game plan there initially?
Because I saw he was going to Castle Age much slower than me.
Yeah. And you can actually watch the fight, the big fight that happened here.
That's actually a bad fight for me.
Yeah, it was a mistake.
yeah, it's a mistake. But the thing about Aztec is you only have to win once, right? You only have to win once fight, and the game is GG.
And you had already teched into Pikeman at that point, so it was an easy counter for you. Game 2, Arena. You won Arena. You told me last night, you're like, I got to win a few Arena games so they stop picking it against me.
Yeah.
What do you think went wrong here for Nikov, or what went right for you?
Maybe he made too many scouts, I think. That stopped him from going to Imperial Age faster. And in late game, Burgundian is always better than Cuman, I think.
Yeah. And then Frigid Lake, of course, you go for, I think, an ambitious strategy with the forward dock and then the forward archer range that's immediately discovered. And then, of course, you try to take this fight against the archers, and that's a disaster. And then over here, clearly noticing that just a little bit too late. How did you feel when that game was like starting to fall apart? And especially in this game in Golden Swamp, when you win the water and then you lose control of it again.
Which game do you want me to talk about?
Both of them.
First?
I mean, it's basically the same thing, right? Like you had a good start, or decent opening, and then it just kind of snowballs out of control.
In Frigid Lake, I don't think I have a good start. Like, do you notice that I stopped making wheels for a while?
There was a lot of idle TC time.
Yeah. I have to idle TC for a while to be able to get up. And I think my archer range is too ambitious. Too much. That was too much. And I should have added skirmisher back in my base instead of scouts, I think. That would be better. Because I have the middle fish, I would have much more better food income, right? So scout wouldn't make sense, and that would slow me down for going to Castle Age. And after that, it was over.
Yeah, it felt that way. I mean, he was like 20 vills ahead or something like that. He kept his TCs running throughout that entire period with Persian.
And Persian TC is crazy.
Yeah. And then Golden Swamp, of course, you take back water control. You're feeling okay with your imp timing, and then you see he's up like 30 seconds after you or something like that, with a castle in the center, no less.
I should have just added more ships to prevent him from going to middle at all. That was quite dumb. But he did a good job. His economy was better, right?
His economy was the market.
What?
And he had the fish working, right? But yeah, your eco was a little bit better than his, I think.
What?
Most points. He did get it balanced when he was going up to Imperial Age.
Okay.
But to get up to Castle Age, he had to make a lot of sacrifices.
You know, there's one thing I like about him. And after I lost, I checked the game. Yeah. And he didn't have many wheels on farm. They were all
he had 3 bills on farms.
Yeah.
It was 70 on wood and 50 on gold, I think.
I mean, I should do the same. I was buying wood all the time. Lesson learned.
Okay, so game number 5. It was looking bad for you at a point. I mean, I think you were 1v2 dock numbers on both pawns. But you went for that one militia.
Yeah, that's
and
scary.
It was massive value because I've never seen anyone more nervous of one militia than Nikov.
Yeah. No, I saw he was walling a lot. I knew that my strategy would work. And if I play normally, I don't think I can win water with Jabadian.
Yeah. But you forced out probably like 10 houses from him, a watchtower, palisade walls.
Yeah.
Was that a planned strategy from you to just go for one, or was that just kind of something you made up?
It is improvised. Like, I wanted to go Man-at-Arms. Then on a second thought, I think one could do the trick.
And now you've got that strategy in your back pocket if you want to use it again, maybe.
Nah, no one will fall for it again.
No one falls for it again. So this time you go for 5 militia, and they think you only have 1. Then you hit them.
Maybe.
Because they're not fully walled. Anyway, congratulations on that, especially after losing those 2 games to come back and win the 5th one was big. You've already got a win in the group stages. Where do you think you're going in NAC4? Where do you expect to end up at the end of the day?
Well, top 4 at least.
Okay.
And champion is always my goal.
Okay. Mr. Yo for champion, confirmed. At least top 4. At least top 4. Okay. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It was a great set. Nili, where are we going from here now?
Replays into next set.
We are going to look at some replays from this set, and then we're going to take you to the next one with Nili and Dash. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay tuned.